Yeah, what's going on, guys? We're just gonna wait a little bit until Speed and Drew. We're gonna do a little things different, nothing too crazy. But as you know, we have a lot of big boxing fights coming up. Well, honestly, just this whole week, but this weekend, right? Got the rematch with Bivol versus Artur, Virgil, Madrimo, Shakur, Padley. I'm gonna put you here, Vince, and plenty others. If you guys want to do picks, it's not gonna be betting or wagering. It's not gonna do none of that. It's just more like friendly. If you guys stop by, I'm gonna just put you guys on a list, uh, so we can see who gets the most correct, just like a friendly pick'em game, you know. That might be it just for now. But yeah, man, I'm kind of curious to see quién es el más chingón. Like, who knows their boxing much more, you know? But yeah, we'll do like a couple of big fights to see who kind of sees it, and then we'll just call them. So I'll go for myself first. Let me just put it right here. I got Bivol. I'm gonna just put Biv. I got Mod. Uh, I got Zane. I got Callum. I got Anandez. So yeah, I'm just gonna wait until everybody shows up. But yeah, man, if you guys want to just be not just a friendly wager, man, but it'll be pretty interesting and fun to see who wins the most picks. But yeah, man, there's a lot of fights, a lot of great fights that are happening over this weekend. You know, for like 25 bucks on the zone. Coupled with that, you know, there was also a couple of fight cancellations or rescheduling, or last minute replacements like Daniel Dubois getting sick, Floyd Schofield getting sick. So it was a little unfortunate because this was looking to be one of the most impressive, if not in terms of recent memory, the most stacked card that I've seen in possibly 2 to 3 decades from my recollection. I remember like in 2013, there were some really good cards, in the beginning of February. Everyone's talking about how great these cards are this Saturday, but just in the beginning of the month on February, David Benavidez, David Morrell, those fights exceeded expectations, right? Pitbull Cruz versus Angel Fierro. Those two fights that we saw are going to be way better than anything we're getting on Saturday. You get what I'm saying? The one that probably has the potential to be on par with how great those February fights were, right? Early February, David Benavidez undercard is Virgil Ortiz versus Madrimov. But Madrimov only throws like 200, 300 punches. Virgil throws 700 plus. Like, if we're talking about averages, right? But even on the preliminary card, you have the Argentinian who beat the Mexican, right? And he, in like the last round, got the knockout. So there was 3 or 4 fights in that card, right, that they're fighting for El Orgullo. And a lot of these fights, like Joseph Parker, he's not in some barn burners, right? Martin Bacoli is. Or not many barn burners, because there was like the Joe Joyce one. There was a couple of Joseph Parker ones. Big Bang Zhang, he's not also in barn burners as well, because there's not a lot of people that are stupid and foolish to just rush him, right? Because the dude hits extremely hard. But anyway, man, I'm gonna wait till Speed and Drew get here. Let me see if I like my picks. I got Bivol, Madrimov, Shakur, Zhang, Callum Smith, and Adames. I know there's other 2-3 cards, but fights that I'm missing, but these are like the big 6. So it'll be very interesting to see who comes out, man. I'm not just talking about like parlays. I'm just talking about like, the potential of who can be the best on these fights come Saturday, man. But yeah, man, I want to just talk a little bit about Floyd Schofield's situation. I want to pretty much keep it simple. I don't really like fighters when things don't go their way to make a lot of excuses. I want to hear legitimate reasons of concern. Legitimate reasons. Like if you get caught taking PEDs, just be honest. If you get sick and injured and you have to pull out, just be honest. If you get beat, be honest in your defeat. Now, reasons are completely different from excuses, right? So, like, for example, in this particular case, when it comes down to Floyd Schofield, his father, senior that is, because Floyd Schofield Jr., he hasn't really said much. But Senior, he doesn't have to come up with all of these excuses that he believes that might be true. No, bro, don't try to spin the narrative. Don't try to manipulate the public and get people to be all warm and joyful for you. No, bro. Just be like, look, guys, my kid got sick. You know, the doctors they're professionals. They told us to withdraw. You know, maybe my kid had an irregular heart palpitation. Maybe, you know, he had a heat stroke. Maybe he had some food poisoning, you know, and, you know, maybe the weight cut was excruciating to him, that the last 2-3 pounds pretty much paralyzed him a little bit and he was falling down and he had irregular breathing problems, whatever the case may be, right? Just leave it up to the professionals. Don't try to spin the narrative to fit the narrative that suits you. Just keep it simple and just be like, hey, man, this is boxing. You know, my kid's very strong and muscular. He had rambiosis. You get what I'm saying? Like, just be honest. People are still going to be mad and salty. They might say that your kid's a cherry picker, maybe that you got scared of the stage, but you're going to be like, look, guys, we're not scared of the stage. We're fighters. Yeah, are we a little worried? Yeah, but that feeling of being worried keeps us sharp and alert on the edge where we need to be, because we need to have, you know, fast twitch muscles. We need to be very have our reflexes in sync, how we channel and trigger certain things in our body so we can react accordingly, right? Because one mistake can cost us. So our worry, yeah, everybody prays. Everyone is worried, but that's what has made us excel. And that's why we were extremely prepared for this moment against Shakur Stevenson. That's all you have to say. You don't have to be like, nah, bro, this isn't, you know, how we go about promoting our fighter, how I go about promoting my son. It's ridiculous. So Floyd Sr., he's got to learn, like, I don't know if he's have to hire like a public relations team, but it's like that narrative that he was running with, being poison and massage cream, bro, that's in the wind, bro. It's for the birds. Like, nobody cares about that. You know, just worry about the health of your son and run it back with Shakur Stevenson. And here's another thing. They missed out on a big paycheck, on the biggest paycheck that they're gonna earn as a 22-year-old, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, they're getting paid $1 million. It's extremely hard, right, to make $1 million. And if you look at the percentages, like, let's say there's been in the history of the sport of boxing, there's been 500,000 professional boxers of all time. Probably like 7 or 8%, or maybe 2-3% have ever made over $1 million in their lifetime. So they're not worried about, and you also got to look at it like this. Is Floyd Schofield going to get destroyed by Shakur Stevenson or outboxed? Sure. But is he going to get knocked out? Is teeth going to go missing? Is, you know, he's going to have a brain tremor? Is he going to have, you know, is he going to land on a coma? Most likely not. That's not who Shakur Stevenson is. You get what I'm saying? That's not what, like, Shakur is not Bud Crawford. He doesn't hit hard like him. Shakur said in an interview that he could only possibly fight 2 times a year max because, you know, issues with his hands. So he can't even commit fully to his punches and power because he's going to probably break his hands in the ring if he does so. That lets me know he's going to just touch me and outbox me. You get what I'm saying? He's not going to put on a beating like Bud did to my boy Errol Spence. That's not Shakur Stevenson. Because if he tries to do that, he's going to break his hand. And that pain is excruciating. And then Floyd Schofield's going to have a chance. You get what I'm saying? So for a lot of people saying that Floyd Schofield's afraid, no, bro. Like, I would get my ass kicked by Shakur Stevenson if you're going to pay me $1 million. And Floyd Schofield is way more prepared than I. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are crazy. The Mexican G goes, man, I'd rather watch Floyd read instead of watching last night's post-main event on Pro Box. Wait, you didn't like the Gabe Flores fight? That was an entertaining bout, bro. Like, that's the thing about Gabe Flores is, like, he's going to look good, and then he's going to, like, have those moments where, like, nah, bro, you're just not him. You're chinny. You know, you have stamina problems. You're not a tight, complete boxer. You're not going to be the greatest. But see, that's the thing. It's like neither was Gabe Rosado. And Gabe Rosado was always in entertaining fights. And as boxing goes, Gabe Flores is must-watch TV because he's probably going to get knocked out. And that makes for entertainment value. Like I'm not going to say that's my guy, but our Salinas native, Andrew Superfly Rodriguez, bro, he got destroyed yesterday. I mean, he did okay, but he suffered a nasty head cut clash in the second round. And he tried to do his best, but the 18, 19-year-old that he was fighting was just a complete fighter. Well, better version of a complete fighter than the guy from Salinas. And, he was through proper punches, was throwing good combinations, hit harder than the 22, 21-year-old out of here. And it was an entertaining bout. I thought he was going to get knocked out. I'm talking about the two fights that fought after Gabe Flores. Oh, you're talking about the guy from Salinas then. Post-main event. Wait. Two guys. I'm talking about the two fights, guys, that fought after. Wait, I thought Gabe Flores was the main event. There's two guys that fought after him or before him. What do you mean, Mexican G? Hey, bro, before I see if Speed and Drew are here, bro, you want to give me your boxing predictions? I have a little spreadsheet that I created. I want to see who gets them the most correct, just like a friendly bet. No money on the line. So, Mexican G, who you got, bro? Bivol versus Artur. I'm gonna put it right here, and whoever gets the most, correct picks, gets the, just gets bragging rights. You know what I mean? I'll make you a moderator or some shit. You know what I mean? There was a fight after the main event. Got you. Nah, man. After Gabe Flores, I thought that was the main event, so I just completely tuned out. I didn't know that there was fights after that. Let me know, bro. Who you got? Bivol versus Artur, Virgil, Madrimov. I mean, I already know you're going for Verge, bro. So I'm going to just put Verge. Then you got Shakur, Padley, Zhang, Callum Smith, and Adames. Even though you hate Shakur, I know you're going to put Shakur. Like, you're not going to pick Padley. But yeah. Let me know, bro. Let me know who you want, bro. Talk to me, bro. Talk to me. Let me see who knows their for this weekend. So who's got the predictions on top? I got Bivol and Ortiz tomorrow. He goes Bivol. All right, you got Verge. Okay, you got Ortiz. Do you want me to put Verge or do you want me to put? And of course Shakur. Yeah, I mean, in spirit and heart, I'm rooting for Padley, but Shakur's gonna win. And who you got? Zhang, Big Bang Zhang versus Ajit Caballel. Who are you going for on that one? Let's see. And then there's Callum Smith versus Joshua Boazzi, and then there's Carlos Adames versus Shiraz. Those are the remaining three. So I want to see who you got, brother. Let me know, brother. Talk to me. You got three more. You got Zhang. Can I type in the whole thing? Yeah, I can type in the whole thing. Zhang. Let me see if I put. Saludos to you at Pachuco. You too, brother. Let me know. And he goes, because I haven't heard of the other guy. Hey, Pachuco, we're just doing a friendly, just wager, friendly bets to see who's gonna get them all correct. So I'm gonna write you down, bro, because I know you're gonna go for Virgil. So let me actually just type in their whole names. Yeah, Virgil, and let me know who you got on the picks. Artur versus Bivol, Virgil, and you got Shakur versus Padley. I'm sure you're gonna go Shakur, even though you probably don't like him. That just seems to be the consensus. And you got Zhang, Callum Smith, Adames. So talk to me, brother. Bivol and Artur. I just want to see who gets the most correct. So you get bragging rights. As I wait for Speed and Drew to hop on, let me see if they're already not waiting on the panel. Nah, they're not waiting just yet. Go back to the Excel sheet. All right, Mexican G, you got two more, bro. You got Callum Smith, who fought Canelo, and that's the guy that got that big old wad of inflammation on his bicep. He's fighting Joshua Boazzi. And then you have Carlos Adames from PBC fighting out of LA, Ted Goosen gym, Shiraz. I'm not too sure what his first name is. Hamza Shiraz. So let me know you got two more. And then I gotta see it. I typed his name wrong. Now warped speed. Better be Zhang Smith Adames. Mexican G says I got Callum. So you got Callum. El Pachuco goes. I got Zhang. Goes. I got Callum Smith. And he says Adames. You should put your Impala on the line. Hell no, I can't. It's actually it's actually in the shop right now. I got the homie out of Ten Goosen gym. Got you. So you're going out of Shiraz, yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Coach Ricky is a good coach. I like Coach Ricky. I know that he's let me see. How should I put that? So I'm gonna type in Shiraz. No, I'm gonna delete the Shiraz. Virgil Ortiz in a breakthrough win. Let's see. Okay. Pachuco goes better be Zhang Smith, Adames. Let me see. You got better be Smith. I got Virgil. And then who? And wait. And then, all right, Virgil. And then El Pachuco. Last one. Artur better be versus Dimitri Bivol. Who you got? And I think you guys would be. A lot of people are picking G Caballero. I'm not too sure. I have only seen him fight once, and that was against that Canelo fighter, Frank, the Cuban heavyweight. But I forgot. Ricky kind of reminds me of Robert Garcia. They're like the same person. Yeah, I think they're really good friends. I know that Coach Ricky, he had a son. I don't know if he stole boxing and going pro, but they used to bring a lot of like sparring partners over to the Oxnard Riverside gym, and they used to have a lot of good sparring. His son, I think, is like Ricky Fuentes Jr. No, like he was pretty good too. He's a nice little southpaw. Yeah, I remember. I don't know why Ellie Sekback. I don't know if he still goes to that gym and gets a lot of content, but he used to get a lot of content. And if Pachuco goes, I'm gonna go for better beef. So I'm gonna put Archer. And then I gotta correct mine. Alrighty, guys. I'm gonna go. I'll just put my Zane. I'll go Callum. And then I'm gonna go Adames. Let me see. Bivol. Yeah, Artur, Virgil. Yeah, these are Shakur, Zane, Callum, and Adames. Alrighty. Reporting Shakur by another snoozer. Yeah, bro. I hope he doesn't, man. I know it's a last minute replacement. So as we know with last minute replacements, brother, it's like, okay, does the fighter that's the in-house fighter, does he take it easy or does he get a straight, early round KO? Supposedly people are saying that the Irishman is very tough. I've never seen him fight myself. So knowing Shakur, he'll probably outbox him. And then if he can get the knockdown, Parker is a fight is still on for him. Wait, did I miss that one? You might be right. I think I might have missed that one. Joseph Parker versus Martin Bacoli. Let's add that one. My bad. Let's go with Joseph Parker versus Martin Bacoli. Alrighty, guys. For me, I'm going to go Bacoli, bro. I actually do like him. He's won me some money in the past. I want to see if Ellie Sekback versus Marcos Vegas. Well, you know what? I've seen Marcos in real life. I went to the Jaime Munguia fight when he fought Liam Smith at the Hard Rock Casino Hotel. And Marcos está chaparrito, bro. Like, it's no big deal. But he didn't look like he exercised. And Ellie's crazy, bro. You can tell that dude is like, he might not know how to fight, but like he'll do anything. He'll scratch and claw. Nah, I don't know, bro. They're just like two nerds, bro. Like, you know what I mean? But I don't know. The Mexican, she goes, I got Parker. Okay, you got Parker. And what about you, El Pachuco? Who you got, Parker? Or you got Marin Bacoli? Yeah, Marin Bacoli, bro, he's won me 2 times money when he beat the American here, the heavyweights. And then when he beat Tony Yoka, he was plus 800 with Tony Yoka. And I was like, bro, people are tripping. That dude is hella good. And I was like, he's going to win by knockout. Secure that bag easily. Marcos actually trained a little. Yeah, I think you're right, the Mexican G. And I know that he was like more hands on and he's much more competitive. I remember like he was trying to arm wrestle or he was shaking Triple G's hand, so he had a little more muscle to him. And when I seen him, yeah, bro, Viegas is a really cool guy. I actually did get to meet him at that fight, the Hard Rock Hotel with Jaime Munguia, and I was like, Marcos, and he turned around and he looked a little short and stocky, but yeah, he seemed like a really cool guy. Ellie probably seems like a pretty cool guy too, but you know, sometimes I don't know if he'd be approachable, you know. And then and Pachuco, I think you're gonna go for Parker, bro. So let me know if I mess it up, but I got you down for Parker. Unless you like Bacoli, Parker, he is improving with every fight. I agree. The Mexican G goes, I think Marcos would win. Not too many Jewish fighters out here. I should tell you everything you need to know. That's funny. Yeah, let me see. I like that comment, bro. I'm gonna highlight that shit. Oh, there we go. War Speed, bro. What's going on with you, man? Do you want to put your pick'em fights or what? Because I know that you or Drew, you were like, hey, bro, make a spreadsheet and put everybody's like names and do all these things to see like who gets the most picks correct. What about you, bro? What you got?
Uh, well, you mean who do I think will win?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. I'm bad at this, man. I don't. I go at every single thing like I do in life. I go at it with a blank mind, bro. I go in there with an airhead, right? I don't like to think about these things, man. I just like to let things happen. Um, as long as they're nice and good fights, I think that's what matters to me. All I can really offer you, homie, is who I would prefer to win,
That's
right?
like a friendly wager. It's nothing on the line, you know, other than just like bragging rights. ¿Y quién es el más chingón?
Yeah. Well,
No,
I
so
respect these guys too much, but let me just tell you who I would have. Okay,
Artur versus Bivol. Who you got?
of course, Beterbiev.
Oh
Not
yeah.
only do I think he won the first fight convincingly, uh, I want him to win, right? I think the best thing for the sport would be for him to hold on to his four belts, to not allow Bivol to become a champion and a disputed champion. Um, at that the cheap way, right? Because that's the thing about Arthur. He got all the belts the hard way. He fought four, I'm not too sure if they were all undefeated, but he fought four defending champions and beat them all, right? And Bieber wants to just mosey on in here and just fight this 40-year-old man that he already fought before and still run and try to call that outboxing or whatever. But no, no, no. I absolutely want Beterbiev to win. I want him to have a fight with David Benavides. I think that fight would be very exciting. I
Hmm.
think anything could happen in that fight, and I really don't want to see Bivol fight um, David Benavides similarly, right? I think he would be on the back foot. I think it'd be very close, but nonetheless, you just get down to brass tacks. Beterbiev for that win.
Virgil versus Madrimov. And this is not in particular order, so I don't know if this is main event, co-main event, you know, whatever. But you know, we'll know. So you got Virgil versus Madrimov.
Okay, who do I want to win?
Bro,
Well,
who don't like who do I want? Like we don't know, bro. Like this is just who we think will win. Like who do you think will win, bro? Like don't be
well,
like,
again, that's the only way I can
I
think,
want
man.
this guy to win. My heart goes to this guy. But like, come on, bro. Don't do that.
Yeah, yeah, that's really what it is, man. My heart goes to this guy. So I would want Virgil to win, right? I think the young man, he had a discontinuation of a very hot streak, a very good potential. When he was at 147, I really do regret the health concerns that afflicted his health and basically derailed his plans at championhood. There's things that I don't approve of Virgil Ortiz. Like, for example, he had an opportunity on two occasions, if I'm not mistaken, of mandating a fight with Terrence Bud Crawford while he was mandatory. And I believe in two organizations, definitely at least one, and he never asked for that fight, right? So I am a little upset that he never called out Bud Crawford because I think he would have presented Bud Crawford with his toughest challenge. Maybe, and especially during the time that Crawford fought turns Errol Spence, he would have definitely presented a greater challenge than that guy. But he, of course, has his plans derailed. He said a different weight division where it's very packed, incredible potential fights there at 154. But homie, Madrimov, right, I understand he fought a guy that's coming up to his fourth weight division in Terrence Bud Crawford. I get that. But he, in my opinion, outboxed him. He did so many
Then
incredible
give me
things.
your picks. Then tell me their details of why. And Pachuco goes like, think about it this way: if you
Mm.
had to bet money, who are you going for?
Oh, okay, there you go. All right, well, jeez, man.
So the next one on the docket, you got Shakur versus Padley.
Check.
Sang versus Ajit Kabayel.
Uh, Caballero.
All right, let me see. Kaba. I'll go Kabayel. Skip the L. Callum Smith versus Joshua Buatsi.
Um, Calvin Smith. Calvin Smith.
Callum. Liam Callum. Callum. And then
Mm.
we got Carlos
This is
Amate
why I don't. But
versus
this is why I don't bet, guys. I know that that Boatsi will probably win. I know that Zing is probably gonna knock out Caballero, right? But I still think that if Caballero can avoid getting hit freshly by Zile Zhang, he will outpoint uh, Zhang, right? But I don't think he could knock out Zhang. Adames versus Shiraz. Oh my God. I, I I think I'll go with Shiraz. I think he's on a hotter streak. I think he's fresh. I think we're underestimating a lot of Frank Warren's fighters. I think I'll go with Shiraz.
Shurs. Joseph Parker versus Marn Bacoli.
I think Martin Book. Yeah, Joseph Parker is good at fighting from mid range, and he's also good at fighting in close quarters. He's his IQ is very underrated. Um, so I think he can bring it to Bacoli. Here's the problem with Bacoli. Bacoli is so powerful with very short punches, and he has a pretty impressive punch variety and good placement. I think Bacoli is gonna upset Parker.
Wait, Bacoli is he's the underdog? Yeah, I suppose, right?
Of course, of course. Joseph Parker is coming off of beating Wilder and beating Zhang. And who has Bacoli beaten? I mean, he beat an undefeated 25-year-old Jared
Larry Anderson.
Anderson, which
Yeah.
is impressive. But I mean, who does Anderson have in his resume? Right? How long has he been in there? How long has his heart been thinking about leaving the sport? For a long time. So Joseph Parker, I think the thing that makes me reluctant to choose Joseph as much as I like the guy is that I don't think his power translates to knockout power as much as Bacoli.
Got you. Yeah, no. One of the things that I like about all of these fights and these moments is that I think they're going to be all competitive bouts. You
Mhm.
know, obviously the Shakur Stevenson fight, last minute replacement, sadly, kind of like Floyd Schofield. Not a lot of people are giving them an opportunity to succeed. That's the only one that, it's not like a 50-50, but everything else, on paper, that's what it might look like. How the fight plays out, Zay can knock out Ajit Caballo in 3-4 rounds, right?
Mhm.
And Joseph Parker, he's got a lot of heart. He's not afraid to look ugly. I don't know if Ajit Caballero has really been in those tough fights where he's really bloodied and bruised. Like you're not gonna really get that out of Frank from Canelo's camp. The slick southpaw. What's his name, bro? Frank what?
Which sub are you talking about?
Not the southpaw, the heavyweight that Canelo camp has. Not Frank Martin.
Oh, Frank Sanchez.
Frank Sanchez. Yeah. He's not, he's a very finesse heavyweight. So I don't know if Ajit Caballero has really been in those tough fights.
Mhm.
Has he really been in there with a huge puncher? Not really. but he does have a lot of momentum. And Big Bang Zhang, bro, he went in there with Deontay Wilder. He's been in there with the Croatian or the Poland heavyweight that Daniel Dubois stopped. There, he's also been in there with Joe Joyce. He's been in there with rugged dudes. I just don't know if Ajit Caballero is cut from that cloth, But we'll see. If Pachuco goes, Virgil was moved out of the number one spot twice. One of the many times was to arbitrarily move Porter to the number one spot, for which the Bud versus Porter fight was made. Interesting. The Mexican G goes, who? Frank Sanchez? Yeah. Yeah, no, I haven't really thought about it like that. I know that for quite some time, right, there's been, God damn, who's fighting right here? Alex? Sorry, just the amateur fight right there looks pretty good. I know that there was a course collision occurring between Virgil and Bud Crawford for a very long time, but it just never truly manifested. And then I'm hearing some reports, and not Golden Boy, but Virgil Ortiz, and in camp they're already saying that they're already planning to move up to 160. I don't know, man. I think now, correct me, guys, if I'm wrong, but when Virgil beat Sergey Bohachuk, that wasn't for a legit 154 title, right? It was like for an interim.
It had everything to do with Charlo having basically walked away and lost all of his belts because he chose to go to Canelo, right, to fight that guy. So I think it is one of those placeholder belts that they're champion insofar as Charlo doesn't come back to defend him, right, or to claim him back. So yeah, it's a legitimate belt. It's because Charlo ain't coming back anytime soon. So I think he's champion for the interim and whatever they call that with Charlo. What is it? Stand-in or whatever. But yeah, I think it's a legitimate belt. I mean, Madrimov held that legitimate belt, having fought another undefeated Eastern European guy, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Kabanov or something like that. I forget his name. You're talking about Madrimov, right?
What? Who's this?
Oh man, now I gotta introduce myself.
Yo,
what's
Drew, let me
happening?
get your
It's your boy. Oh, shit.
Warp Speed, Pachuco, the Mexican G, they've given me their predictions of, now there's more than 7 fights, but these are the 7 high-profile fights that are occurring this weekend, very early on, right, because it's over there in Saudi. Just before you give me all the details, right, I'm going to just phrase it like this, how El Pachuco phrased it. If you had to bet money, right, Drew, because you are a betting man, tell me your lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Bivol versus Artur. Who you got, bro?
Bivol versus Artur. I got Artur by decision. I've still
wait. No, not yet. Don't give me all the details. Just tell me the
just
names
like that.
Yeah,
All right.
Virgil versus Madrimov.
Madrimov.
Mad. Shakur versus Padley.
Shakur.
Zhang versus Caballero.
Caballero.
Callum Smith versus Boazzi.
Callum Smith.
Alum. Adames versus Shiraz.
Oh, you're agreeing with me. Wow. Adames.
Yeah, I got Adam too. And Joseph Parker versus Bacoli. Bacoli. All right, for sure.
Damn, we're all agreeing, huh?
Waiting for Vince and Adi Medi and this year. Mexican.
You're not Mexican.
He's not going to stop buying this. I'm not talking about like Virgil is not on the thumbnail because then that's when he pops in. So I just put you're not Mexican because that's always what he says. And then Vince, surprise Vincent's here, given that, the guy from Salinas fought yesterday on Pro Box and he lost. And then Adi Medi, we don't go live consistently. So, but yeah, El Pachuco goes, yeah, it's an interim. And Madrimov won a vacant title. Yeah, interesting stuff. The Mexican G goes, I wore some Nike Cortez to work today. Got lots of compliments from the bitches. That's what we like to hear, bro. That's exactly what we like to hear, bro. We want to know that our fellow guys, man, on the panel, they can pull some game, bro. They got some. Yo, man. All right, Drew, because I know you barely hopped in here. Let me pause this video real quick. All right, now tell me and Speed, because I kind of rushed you guys through you guys' predictions. Before we get on to all the fights, we're going to go straight to the top. Artur versus Bivol. Why do you guys see it the way you guys see it?
So I think we're gonna see the same type of fight just because they gave it the raw, bro. Bivol gave it his all, his last fight, and so did Arthur because he actually um made him. It was probably Bivol's toughest fight, and made Bivol push himself like he never has before. So Bivol's gonna have to do that, or else he's gonna get knocked out. And it's Arthur Betterbeeb's fight to lose, obviously, technically, because he has a belt, but it's gonna be he's a pressure fighter. He's the one that comes forward, and that nothing's really gonna change that, unless he meets somebody else that has that power and ends up getting knocked out by somebody. But he's the real deal, man. I think we're gonna see the same thing, and it's gonna be Arthur. Better be with decision.
What about you, Speed? How come you also chose Archer?
Well, I'm a simple man, right?
Nice and
I
short.
Yeah, I'm a simple man. I like aggression. I think walking down an opponent, it gives the impression that you're dominant. Gives the impression that they're fearful. Gives the impression that your punches are more effective, right? It's very simple. And I saw that in the first fight. I don't see Beterbiev, even if he has alleged that he has something new up his sleeve. I don't know what else he could bring that's new, especially with the same style of always coming forward and with plans to knock out his opponent. I think he'll repeat the same formula. It worked for him before. I don't think he'll switch it up. He can't become the mobile fighter this time around. And like he stated, he wants to make sure that he holds on to his belts because he doesn't want a trilogy. Right. So I think he's gonna go in there with the same formula and it's gonna look the same thing, which, if I'm not mistaken, more people thought Beterbiev won. And that's the only reason why I'm going with it. I like forward aggressors, and I don't think there's any better forward aggressors than Beterbiev, especially when he can lead to a knockout.
Got you. Yeah. What do you think, or do you even care for these comments that Bivol said that he wasn't at 100%?
No, because he actually said that he didn't have no excuses. So why he said he's not gonna say no excuses, or else it's gonna make him look bad. So he was good, So now he's saying it wasn't 100%. I mean, I just think that's just to build himself up. I think it's slight delusion, for him to say that. For him to say that, it's like, okay, now you're looking for reasons. You should have just stuck to your guns and said, you know, I'm no excuses. 10 toes
Got
down.
you. And what about so you guys are talking about, like, you, Drew, you were saying that Bivol gave it his all, that we're gonna get a very similar fight like that. And Pachuco goes, if Bivol is saying that he's gonna be more aggressive, then it's better be all day. Better be has dynamite in his hands. So if he's basically, you guys are both agreeing and saying if Bivol opens up more, you know, Better be gonna catch him in between. And
Yeah.
I want to say one of the things is, so we talked about it on Speed's Live, 2-3 days ago. And yeah, kind of like how you guys said, when I watched that fight live, I thought body language alone, Archer was winning, you know, and I thought he won the fight. But I rewatched it on Monday night, and I was thinking to myself, bro, Bill won this like 8 rounds to 4. Like, I don't know what the combi box numbers looks like, but if I probably look at it, Bivol landed 1 or 2 more punches probably almost every single round, except the championship rounds. That's where like Better Beef was really like putting it on him and snapping him. And even like, for example, the 7th round, I remember this round because like Bivol was dominating. And then Better Beef lands a jab, splits the guard, and like Bivol kind of like not wobbles, but he's like, oh shit, like, damn. And then Better Beef noticed maybe like a look on his eye, and he started pouncing on him for like the last 30 seconds. And you're like, did Better Beef just steal that round? But when you look back at it in that seventh round, Bivol completely dominated. That is some really good punches himself. And when I rewatched it, like a film session, whatever the case may be, I thought Bivol really dominated. I was like, this is how Bivol fought. Then I was like, all right, let me go watch Bivol versus Canelo. And for the first 4 rounds, bro, Canelo was beating Bivol. I was like, yeah, Bivol's doing okay, but he's not really committing to his punches. And Canelo is not, he's throwing but getting blocked a lot, but he's pressing his fight. He's landing some uppercuts. A lot of people don't want to, hitting the bicep is not a scoring blow, but when it is hitting the bicep, that's a body punch, right? Like that counts as body. Like the arm is an extension, or is it no? It's just torsos and abdomen. Because he's making a concerted effort to target the bicep. It's not like he's hitting, trying to go around your guard and you're blocking it off the gloves. Like he's hitting the bicep.
I think that's
an uppercut, into the inside of your bicep when you keep, and I'm slipping the jab and I pop you and I'm trying to dislocate your elbow. That should count, right? Or no?
I think that's considered blocked. Like I think as long as it's not hitting your I think that's more of a decision that you're hoping on injuring and disabling that hand. That way he doesn't, utilize it that much. So it's like it's considered blocked.
Yeah, I would overall say that as well. So I don't really know what the fine line is, but yeah, man, I was watching it and I was like, yeah, bro, yeah, Canelo's doing this thing versus Bivol. He's having trouble, penetrating through the guard because Bivol was very astute, he's very aware. He blocks, his defense is top tier, bro, top tier. And yeah, man, I thought it was a really good. I was like, man, yeah, I don't think Bivol was winning these rounds, and they ain't gonna give it to him either because he's barely landing anything significant of worthy of note. Even when he did have Canelo, I think in the third round up against the ropes, he might have landed just like one punch out of the 7-8 punch combinations that Canelo was baiting him to throw. But yeah, let's see. All right, man, I'm gonna go to the next fight: Virgil versus Madrimov. Now the Mexican G goes, Virgil is gonna stop the Russian. He's looking to make a statement because his last fight wasn't one-sided as he hoped that it would be.
I don't think
so. You and Speed, you kind of split. You went Madrimov, Speed went Virgil, and Pacheco and the Mexican G, they went Virgil. How do you see that fight, guys?
Speed. Go ahead, Speed.
On which fight again?
Virgil versus Madrimov. Like, why'd you choose Virgil, Speed?
So I can go first, so I can cook you.
Well, man, see, it's because I messed up though, right? I messed up right there because when I took El Pachuco's advice, which he really simplified it, he said, if you had to put money, who would you go for, right? I had already made that choice, but I really couldn't think about that fight. Like, look, here's the thing about Virgil Ortiz, right? Virgil Ortiz, he has a bone to pick, right? He's very Texan, so he's very humble. He's very reticent and oft to speak, right? So he lets the words that he wants to express speak for themselves through the violence, right? This is one of those guys that if you hit him flush, he's gonna go get you back, and that's the reason why I think Virgil is much more explosive than Madrimov. I believe he also has the height and reach advantage by a little bit, or I hope so, because Madrimov is very, very skilled. But the caliber of fighters that Virgil Ortiz has faced, I've been much more impressed than the ones that Madrimov has faced. Even though he did well against Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is a guy that met him 4 weight divisions from where he started, right? I think Madrimov is very good at boxing, right? But Virgil Ortiz is very good at trying to beat you up. And when I think about that fight, I actually think Madrimov might just be content with beating you in boxing, whereas Virgil Ortiz doesn't really ever go there to beat you in boxing. He goes there to beat you up and win the violent way. That's why I'm going for Virgil. I think if anybody's going to win that fight, it's not going to be because of outboxing or who has the better jab or who has the better movement or footwork. It's going to be who can hurt each other the most. And I think that Virgil Ortiz is just more aggressive and spiteful than Machimov. That's the only reason why I think Virgil will win it, because he's just naturally more feisty.
What about
Yeah,
you?
nah. I mean, honestly, I think Madrimov is it's gonna be a good fight. I'm not gonna say Madrimov's gonna wipe Virgil out, but Virgil never seen this type of footwork before, bro. And Madrimov's footwork is actually like above, like it's elite, bro. He's past the curve, like he's like a Loma in his division, bro. I'm not saying like dominant like him, but Israel has decent power, and he's shown that he can actually hurt you as well. In that Bohachuk fight, when Virgil fought Bohachuk, um, he got buzzed. He got buzzed a couple times, and I'm not talking about where they ruled the slippage. Remember how like he slipped, and I think it was a real like he's actually slipped, but it actually kind of looked concerning a little bit because he was a little off balance, But I did see him get buzzed a couple times in that fight, and he got hit pretty good. And Madrimov, um, was like right off the back, bro. Like in the start of his career, he was put in tough fights, and Boachuk kind of got padded a little bit, but he's proven to actually have power as well. Um, but not this like concussing power. It's more like just overwhelming punches and just enough to stop a fight. But Madrimov can catch you by surprise with his footwork, and he I wouldn't be surprised if he knocks down Virgil. But Virgil is elite for in the 154 division, though. Don't get me wrong, like he's actually still the ones, in that division because of his size. And I think it's his I think this is his perfect, weight class right here. But Madrimov's just different, man. He's got elite footwork, and I don't think he's ever seen footwork like this, bro. So I don't see Virgil hurting Madrimov either. And Madrimov just too active. He's way too active, and I don't see Virgil keeping up with that. I don't see either guy, getting knocked out. And that's really the reason why I think Madrimov is just too active. Like his footwork or his hand, his hands are just too active. He's always moving, and he's gonna be a little too active for Virgil. So that's why I think.
But let me ask you this though: is it wasted energy?
Well, I mean, it depends, bro. What kind of footwork that your opponent has? If your opponent,
like, for example, like Lomachenko, he has footwork, but he's always pressing forward and throwing combinations. Madrimov doesn't really. I mean, if we're just basing it off his last fight versus Crawford, he was feinting so much and throwing so little.
Right.
I think almost like, I don't know, bro.
But
in
Virgil,
12 rounds, he probably didn't throw more than 30 punches.
Right.
And maybe you could be like, well, because he can't be reckless against Bud Crawford. So you're like, he has to just, make sure that he only throws quality shots that are going to land, because Crawford's a natural or a good counter puncher that if you overcommit or get sloppy, he's going to make you pay.
Yeah.
Maybe, But I'm just saying, like, I was rewatching that fight, right? And same thing happened. When I watched it live, I thought Madrimov won. Now, I did have money on Madrimov to win by decision, right? So it would have been a nice pay. But when I rewatched it, I kid you not, bro, I thought Bud Crawford dominated him. Not by much, but I was like, bro, Bud is landing better punches. And
Yeah.
Madrimov is only trying to steal these rounds, but the quality of the round was mostly Bud pressing and doing his thing. And I was just like, okay. And then I was also looking back at, when I rewatched the fight, but when I watched Madrimov as well, like, he hasn't really fought a lot of big names either at 154. You get what I'm saying? Like, he had beaten and knocked out that guy Kurbanov, another Russian who was 25-0. But if you know a little bit of Kurbanov, that dude sucks, bro. He really he's not good. And I thought Liam Smith beat him, and a couple other fighters beat him as well. But he just looked nice on paper, right? But I think the most impressive fight that I saw was Vladimir Hernandez, and that was his debut, Madrimov's debut. And
That's a debut.
Vladimir Hernandez is a guy that slept Orlando Trunk Simpson, right, from Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn, bro, that's your debut.
And he knocked him out.
I was like, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. And honestly, he's been in wars, bro. Like, not even wars, is just he's giving dudes trouble, man. He's hurting guys. But Virgil got chin though. And I seen him take a full-fledged fucking baseball hook by Bohachuk, bro, to the face, and he took it pretty. He was buzzed. That's what I was saying. He was buzzed, but he took it well, you know. And that's why I'm saying he's gonna be able to take his power definitely. But can he deal with that? It's not too. His foot movement is back and forth. It's not too lateral, but he does get lateral. He does go side to side sometimes, but I see him doing that type of stuff, bro, to Virgil. And I just don't see Virgil kind of keeping up with it, man. He barely, like, people are saying Bohachuk won, and that's the reason why. If Virgil wins, then he's gonna give him that rematch, I heard, because it was that close. And Bohachuk's footwork is not like much Madrimov's. So that's why I was thinking, like, nah, dude, like, Madrimov got this, man. Like, I think Madrimov just got this based off of the footwork. But and if you look at Bohachuk, that was a tough, close fight. Very, very close fight. So
yeah. All I'm gonna say is this, bro. I'm googling a little bit off the side, right? And I'm talking about the CompuBox numbers. Madrimov threw a total of 275 punches, bro. 275 punches against Bud Crawford.
I think you've thrown more in training.
Virgil Ortiz threw 747 against Bohachuk. Bohachuk threw over 850 punches. You get what I'm saying? So these guys were fucking duking it out in the pocket. I mean, you guys saw the fight, but I'm just thinking to myself, bro, Madrimov ain't no Deontay Wilder. He's not hitting like that, where you're going to throw 275 punches that's going to knock out Virgil. You're not hitting like that.
He's just accurate.
So I'm like, I don't know. Look, bro, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, bro. I'm skeptical on Virgil because of his health. But I also don't like him a little bit. Like, he's one of my favorite RGBA fighters, right? Because you have him and Bam Rodriguez. But it's like, I was a big fan of El Maestro Mauricio Herrera. And you guys know I always talk about how he should have been Fighter of the Year when he beat Danny Garcia in Puerto Rico. But I think that's why I've never I didn't like how Virgil knocked his ass out like in 2-3 rounds. You know what I mean? I thought for Mauricio Herrera's whole career, bro, when he beat Jose Benavidez Jr. and when he beat Danny Garcia in the island of Puerto Rico, I just didn't want him to go out that way. And Virgil was the guy, and I'm like, I like Virgil. I had hopes that maybe him and Frankie Gomez were going to fight at one time, him and Jose Benavidez. And then these health problems arise from Virgil. He's not cutting weight properly. He's passing out on all of these things. And I'm thinking to myself, shit. And then Mean Machine is a tough opponent. I saw how crafty he was early on in the early rounds versus Bud Crawford. And I was thinking to myself, he's going to struggle with him. And he did, right? And then more health problems arose. And he's moving up all these weights from like 140 to 147 to 154. He's having these fake fights that are being stopped in one round. And I'm like, Bohachuk's going to beat him. Next thing you know, it's basically one of the fight of the years. And you're like, damn, Virgil is back. I was very impressed with Virgil in that fight off the fact that his two fights at 154, 156, early stoppages. And I'm like, bro, this guy just put hands on Brian Mendoza. Like this dude has Manny Flores training him. You're in for a rude awakening. Be that as it may, I was very impressed with his temperament. Getting dropped twice. It seemed like he knew he's been in that position before, so he didn't overreact. And the thing that I love most about Virgil is when he's hurt, you can see his legs shake, but bro, it's bombs away. And it's just tough Texas. Like it's great to see, bro. Like, it's just fighters scoring off on the shield, and it's amazing. New country. Hey, bro, since you're here, country, I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit. Virgil goes, Pachuca goes, Virgil had 2-3 short fights in between facing Bohachuk. That's similar to being inactive. I agree. And that's what I was most impressed. Pachuca goes, Mauricio Herrera was old, and Virgil had a size advantage. Yeah, man, that one hurt, bro. I like those crafty, little pesky fighters like Paulie Malignaggi, Mauricio Herrera, and the other guy that fought Josh Taylor, the Mexican guy. He also fought Canelo twice. Mikey or Miguel Vasquez Jr. I like those fighters that, they don't really pack that punch, so they have to find crafty, very boring, I guess, ways of winning.
He fought Canelo too.
That punch. But country, I want to ask you, bro, because we're doing it's just a friendly wager, but I just want to add you to the list, and you just give me your fight predictions, and I'll put you down. And then, basically whoever wins, I don't know what I'll give them, but, maybe it's just bragging rights. But let me know if you're in on it, brother. It's just free. There's nothing to bet, other than just bragging rights. So here, country, Bivol versus Artur. Who you got, bro? And we're just going to run it down really quick. And you can just type it in the chat box.
Yeah, and we can just keep score maybe. Like, all right, you win this week and you get, I don't know.
Yeah, like on big cards, I think it'll just be like, I don't know if it'll always be Turkey Ali Sheik cards. It could be Oscar De La Hoya versus Eddie Hearn. They have 5 fights that are going at it, but we'll just keep tabs on it. New country goes, sure. All righty, country. Bivol versus Artur. Who you got, bro? And then obviously there's Virgil, Madrimov, Shakur versus Padley, Zhang versus Caballero. Just keep typing it, and then I'll just
that better be.
So he says Artur. Damn.
Virgil versus Madrimov.
2 people going for Bivol. And then Virgil versus Madrimov.
Yeah. I have a feeling he's going to say Madrimov.
Did you guys already subscribe to the enrollment of the Ring magazine to get a chance to win
that dude.
L55 thing?
Dude, I thought I was doing it, but I only got the digital version. Like I got the PDF file. I was like, damn.
Nah, it's no big deal. That's still good, bro.
Yeah, it's still cool. You put it on the wrong lane. Oh no, you're good.
And right there. Oh, he says Madrimov, so I put Mad. And I'm sure you got Shakur. You got Callum Smith versus Boati. I'm going to for the Ring magazine. And then you got Adames versus Shiraz. Those are the last 2 fights you got. Unless you're not going for Shakur. But yeah, man, I'm very excited for this weekend's card, bro. I want to see Virgil keep proving me wrong. Like, I'm a fan of him. I do like seeing his fights. I haven't missed any fights. And, I obviously don't – I'm a big fan of Golden Boy and his small roster, so I don't really particularly like rooting against. But if we're talking about money-wise, man, I was very impressed with Madrimov. And honestly, bro, I'm a big fan of Joel Diaz. Joel Diaz, every fighter that he's ever had, whether if it's Butayev, whether it's Timothy Bradley, any fighter, they're going to be tough. He's no stranger to Mexican warfare fights. Like, he prepares them extremely well. Bivol versus Canelo. Joel Diaz was also, he was under their tutelage. He wasn't the main trainer. He goes Shiraz and Smiths. Bro, everyone's going Callum Smith. What's going on with Boati? Boati's getting no love, and he goes Shiraz. Yeah, bro. Like, all right, so we got Adames and Shiraz right now is split. Bakoli Parker split. Callum Smith is a wash. Look at that. Brr. Caballero and Zhang 3-3. Shakur's a wash. We got Madrimov, Virgil. That one's 3-3. Artur and Bivol 4-2. Dang. Now, hopefully, Adi Medi and Vince Vargas and Mexican Boxing show up a little bit just to see if they want to, friendly wage. into this
Yeah.
situation. But
Hey,
yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting
can
for
I
sure.
say, yo, I was gonna say Tupac's. I meant Shakur's opponent. Have you heard of Padley? Have you heard
No, I,
anything
mean,
about it?
I don't think I have, man.
Dude, he upset Mark Chamberlain uh when he was undefeated, and he was like plus 1600 underdog, and he beat him, bro. So I don't know. I'm not saying he's gonna upset him, but I think Shakur is gonna have to do some adjusting, and he might like surprise him with some things that he has in his tool belt, you know.
Let me
But
ask you this: is
yeah.
Padley a knockout artist, or does he punch?
No, no fucking power at all. He's just a
So,
boxer.
Absolutely not.
so then he's not going to be able to outbox Shakur.
No.
Probably not.
That's.
But
I'm not saying that it's going to take a puncher, to beat Shakur, but you have to have that element that Shakur feels threatened by, because that fighter from Germany, I think this was Shakur's last fight, Artem Havanesian or
yeah,
Hatunian.
yeah,
I like his skills, bro. He's like very good. He's like a poor man's version of Oscar Valdez. He's got good footwork. He's got good combination punches, and he was doing very well. Like his game plan was very, like that's a good game plan to beat Shakur. What did he lack? Punching power. Shakur was walking him down, and that's like you need to have that threat, like an Edwin de los Santos, like Nakatalia. If you don't pack that punch, I know there's one thing: you're not going to be able to outbox him.
Yep.
Like that's his game.
Yeah.
Like Pachuco goes, yeah, he has trained Virgil early in his career. He's familiar with Virgil's style. Yeah, bro. Like Joel Diaz, that dude, one of the most underrated trainers that a lot of like very underappreciated. I was really hurt that Timothy Bradley didn't work things out with him. I thought I prefer Joel Diaz over Teddy Atlas. Don't get me wrong, I love Teddy Atlas, but I don't really think he's that great of a boxing trainer, nor near the level. Yeah, that might be a hot take. I could be wrong, but yeah, I was hurt by that. Dude's a drywall hanger. It sucks
who
that
is?
he's the last minute opponent. He's talking about Josh Hadley, new
Oh
coach.
no, he's an electrician.
Got you.
He,
Yeah, man. I don't know. By heart, I'll be rooting for Joshua Padley. I don't like Shakur, bro. I know he's got skills, but I will always root against Shakur Stevenson. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't like
Yeah.
him. It's like Bud Crawford. I know these guys are skillful. I don't like them. I don't know. There's just some
is
things
it
about them that, yeah.
is it because of Ruben?
Ooh.
No.
Is he outbox and beat Ruben via stream? Nah, not because of Ruben. It's just if I'm being honest, when it comes down to Shakur, I feel that he gets okay. If there was that park, I hate bringing it up, bro, because it's just. But like when he was beating on that girl,
Mhm.
and there might have been like some gang affiliated thing, but he was like kicking her and punching her when like she was on the ground type of thing. That don't sit well with me. You know what I mean? And he's like very fortunate again because he's rich and he's got lawyers that bailed him out in the situation. Same thing like Tank. People might say that they're very skillful. I will never like these guys. Bud Crawford, great skills. I get it. I get it. Beat the shit out of my guy Earl Spence, but I don't like his personality, bro. I know that he's a family man. He likes fishing. He kicks ass. Like I know, but it didn't sit well with me, that thing that he was telling Jose Benavides Jr. about calling his mom the B word. That didn't sit well with me. I was just like, hell no. Like, what are you talking about, bro? It's just like step in there and throw it down with him. I don't know, bro. There's just some things that like I don't know, it just beyond fighting, but it is.
That's not all right. He's J Prince fighter. And remember what happened to Takeoff from the Migos. He got his wig.
Got you,
What
but
is it called? A
nothing to do
wig
with
peeled back.
like,
And Shakur Stevens was literally standing 2 feet away from takeoff when he had his head blown off. So yeah, Shakur Stevens is definitely not a good human. He's
What did he do there?
yeah,
Yeah,
like that doesn't have nothing to do
I
with
know.
Shakur.
What did he
It's
do?
not like he's a
That's
trigger man.
horrible. It's
What are
like,
you talking about, bro?
what do you mean? He's hanging out with killers. What are you
no,
talking about? He's hanging
no,
out with killers. They kill one of his buddies.
no. Jay Prince,
That's
Jay
what I
Prince,
said.
Jay Prince promotes the Migos as well. What you talking about?
And he killed him. He killed Takeoff. He
I
got what?
don't know about that, but I'll say this. Um, I mean, I've seen some like the Breakfast Club interviews with Jay Prince when he was promoting one of his books. I know that he was, like in the corner of the Sergey Kovalev, Andre Ward situation, but he seemed like a straight shooter. I know there's like this thing like Houston Mob or whatever the case may be, but that doesn't concern me of anything, bro. Like
Bob ties.
who Shakur associates with, like I don't care. You get what I'm saying? It's just more about their demeanors, like how
Yeah,
cocky they present themselves. It's just like, yo, Shakur, bro, like I don't know. They're like those
because
incidents. There's certain things that I can never like. Nah, bro. I don't know.
Jay Prince also promotes promotes fucking Mason Abdullah Mason, and he doesn't act like that. But
Exactly. It's just like, again, I'm not saying that I completely know
But that's the thing, though. You see, that just proves my point.
citizen models, but it's just like a lot of these fighters. A lot of these fighters aren't like the smartest guys, like Chris Algieri, right? They're not like, no, it's rough beginnings. That's why they're able to hurt people, right? Because they're hurt themselves, they can hurt people. Yeah, we get it. So they don't have to be like these great citizen models, be exemplaries to the whole world, and like this is how what a fighter and a man supposed to look like, type of thing. But just I don't really think that they really appreciate their blessing, not just their talent, but the stage that they are given. You get what I'm saying? That is like, bro, one bad moment, or this particular cases, a few bad moments, you guys keep getting away with it. And it's just like you guys have privileges, but you guys play like you guys are the victims. Shakur, Tank, those things don't sit well with me at all, bro. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't understand how you can say that it's not really who you associate with. It's more about their demeanor. When a lot of the reasons why people have a certain character, a certain demeanor, a certain attitude is exactly because of who they hang out with,
But those
right? Like, I
moments,
mean, they're hanging out with rappers that talk bad about women, and we all know this, right?
I mean,
I'm just gonna say bad words: bitches, but hoes and tricks, right? That's what we grew up with in the hip hop community. They're hanging out with hip hop community that looks at women as nothing but sexual objects that should be beaten up on, slapped, and
sound like
pimp
a
slapped,
Karen.
right? Yeah, yeah,
Sound like
whatever,
a
whatever.
Karen.
And then you don't think that has anything to do with the fact that he hangs out with these dudes or thugs, and you just proved it again. This guy Dream, he talked about how Jay Prince also promotes Abdullah Mason. Guess what? He promotes Abdullah Mason. He promotes Shakur Stevens. And Abdullah Mason, even though he can easily have the same influence, the same access to all of these places, people, and dangerous situations, he stays away from it. Yet Shakur Stevens goes at it. That's just adding on to the reasons why Shakur Stevens gets into the problems that he's in, which is the same exact things that you're saying you dislike about the guy, right? I don't see no big difference between why I don't approve of Shakur Stevens hanging out with certain people because
You're
it all
overthinking.
leads to the same path.
but
You're
those are
overthinking it.
isolated moments that I'm talking about, though. See, when Shakur was doing that thing in Florida, he wasn't with his boys, type of thing. Maybe he was. I don't
It
know.
was with his boy.
But
Him and his boy beat up on a dude and the girl.
same thing with Tank Davis. He wasn't with his boys when he did all those things that he got away with. Because if there was anybody else, well, you doing hard time. These guys were individual acts, bro. You know what I mean? If he's with his guys right there and they're shooting dice and a bad deal goes bad, he's not responsible for, you got open carry over there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if any of these people were hit with lawsuits or, they were just street justice served. I don't know. I don't remember. I
No.
don't really pay attention to every little thing, but I'm not going to put that on Shaker, but I'm just telling you guys the reasonings why I don't particularly like those fighters. Like, everyone's trying to slander or like mess up Jay Prince's name. I haven't seen
No, no,
one.
no, no. I'm not saying anything. No, no, no. I'm not. I got nothing to do with Jay Prince, man. You're a good guy, bro.
Beat him up. Like I'm like
I ain't gonna say nothing about that guy.
the Mexican G goes. Once you get rich, you're above the law. Yeah, I agree. Man. Like you know, it is
Hey,
what it is.
Mexican G, make it picks. Make his picks or no?
Mexican G, yeah, he did make his picks. He,
Okay.
Mexican G went right
Mm,
here. He went Bivol, Virgil, Shakur, Zane, Callum, Shiraz, and Park.
mm. Man, what did they see in Shiraz, man?
Look at OJ Simpson. I'll say with Shiraz, I'll tell you this. He's like 6'4", bro. And he's got very long
Is it?
arms, very rangy, and he's got good punching technique. Whether we're talking about the jab, the shooting right hand, the left hook, he's solid, bro. He's solid. My only thing is a little chinny, you know.
He's skinny.
And I've only really seen him fight one time, and that was against Amo Williams. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not the biggest Amo Williams fan. You know, he's one of those, football players turned boxers, right? Kind of like Montana Love. So Montana Love, kind of like Amo Williams, these were like prospects from Eddie Hearn and things of that nature. But I wasn't really too high on these guys, like their techniques and stuff. Not just like the Steve Sparks situation when he was getting handed to him and he flipped him out of the ring and got canceled. There were just moments where, like, bro, how you gonna react when the fight is tough? Now I see. Amo Williams, though, in that particular fight, even though I really wasn't high on him, I know that he was rusty with his technique and his discipline. But Shiraz was doing well. I just don't know if it's good enough to beat Carlos Adames, because Adames, when he fought, and again, I don't know, but when he fought Sergey Derenchenko, he was the only fighter that beat Sergey Derenchenko convincingly.
Yeah.
I didn't think Triple G beat him convincingly. I didn't think Danny Jacobs, Jaime Munguia. The 4 or 5 losses that Derenchenko has, Carlos Adames was the only one that truly dominated him. Where I was like, hey, could have been a draw. Or, hey, I had Derenchenko winning. Nope, not on that fight. Adames handedly beat him, bro. I was like, wow.
Dude, you know how I'm gonna tell you how confident I am in this pick. Like, I think he's gonna, and he has to knock him out. If he's not knocking him out, I think Hamza does have the ability to win out the rounds. But dude, this guy, I watched this guy fight Montiel, and I was like, oh my god, dude, he was just however you say it, I can't even say it right. Obliterating.
Yeah, literally.
Obliterate Montiel, bro. Like, it was
There's
bad,
no
bro.
H in that, though. There's no H in that.
Yeah, bro. Like, he was in the 3rd round, he knocked him out. And then I also seen him fight J Rock. J Rock, and he knocked him out as well. And J Rock's a little more skilled, and he actually got knocked down in the later rounds. And for him to like beat a Terrell Gausha, like Terrell Gausha is not like top of the line, but he's elite enough and strong enough in his division. Like, he's one of the stronger punchers in his division. Knocked down a Tim Tszyu, and he beat him convincingly as well. So yeah, bro, I looked at that, and you're telling me he beat what's his name, Derenchenko, like, convincingly. I watched the highlights on that, and he did. It looked like he was about to knock him out. So once I seen that, I was like, okay, I think. And once I seen them confirming this fight, I was like, dude, I'm and after me watching Shiraz get wobbled by Ammo, who actually is like, he's got a lot of power, but he's like the most inaccurate puncher out there, and he just does not look at what he's punching at. He just throws these baseball freaking hooks, and and just hopes for the best. And he actually wobbled Shiraz, bro. So once I seen that, I was like, dude, honestly, Adames, it has the ability to set his punches up, and I think he's never actually really faced a puncher like Adames.
Yeah.
And Shiraz, dude, the beginning of his career, it's super padded. It's super padded, and he's getting knockouts. But if you look at the first 10 fights, they're all like horrible records, and it's nothing compared to Adames, honestly. And and these undefeated fighters, he only faced 2 of them, and Amo Williams is like has the worst accuracy out there, and he's tough, but I mean, yeah, it's just Shiraz does have good hand placement. He has good length, uh, and he's actually he's pretty tough as well. He got wobbled, but did not get knocked down. So uh, he can be hurt, but I guess he knows he's smart enough to actually, you know, uh, hold and actually turn the tide and get a knockout. So
I need you to go
yeah.
watch Carlos Adames versus the guy. I hear what you're saying,
Mhm.
but here's this other thing why Shiraz, a lot of people might be picking Shiraz. Because Carlos Adames had this one weird night, bro. Teixeira. And Adames was dominating Teixeira, bro.
Rosie.
He was dominating early rounds. Probably blew out his wad. Like he like Teixeira's face, if I remember correctly, like that dude was busted up, and he drops Adames. In the second half of the fight, like bro, it was a complete different story. And it wasn't like, because if I'm not mistaken, Patrick Teixeira at one time was signed to Golden Boy, and I think Golden Boy let him go because he was, I don't know, he really wasn't panning out. He was very inconsistent. Where there was moments where like, damn, bro, you can be really good. And then there's moments, a lot of moments, that he was looking like Giovanni Cabrera. Very boring, very like defensive-minded first. And that's not really Golden Boy's cachet. They usually, when they're going to promote their fighters, they're going to promote, more knockout artists. And they let him go. And Carlos Adames had this crazy fight with Teixeira, bro. It's a great entertaining bout. And Shiraz, like Teixeira, long ligaments, bro, long reach. And Adames, and this is not, I don't blame Adames' fault. I blame PBC because PBC has a great roster. They just destroy all their fighters. They don't keep them active enough. Like how many careers have the PBC destroyed? They possibly destroyed Adames' career as well. You know what I mean? Where this guy is talented, but you're only having him fight maybe once every year. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, what happened to Brian Castano? And that's a great fighter. After the Charlos, you guys dismissed him, right? Jamal, maybe time off, whatever the case may be. But look, even like Rashidi Ellis. What about Roy Monvilla? And these are still very good fighters that you guys just like, where are they at now? It's just bad structure over at the PBC destroying other careers. Look at Tim Tszyu. You get what I'm saying? It's just like Adames is one of those guys too where if I'm going to, I like fighters that are consistent and active and constantly improving. That's why a lot of people are choosing Shiraz because you see those elements of activity. You see the improvements. He can hit. Is he chinny? Maybe. Possibly. I would say, can Carlos Adames capitalize on that? He has the potential to be. This is a really good fight, and I think that's why, just to answer your question, I think that's why a lot of people are choosing him because, bro, like, Shiraz has great opportunity to really do damage and really become a force at 160. Obviously, we know all roads lead to at 160. Johnny Beck, I'm gonna lie, he's the best guy there, but be that as it may. Yo, Vince, bro, what's going on with you, man?
Make your picks.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I remember Drew, maybe like 2-3 weeks ago, he wanted me to make a spreadsheet about, and do some weekly pick'ems for this fight. Just a friendly wager. There's no money on the line other than bragging rights.
There could be in the future.
So country, the Mexican G, El Pachuco, Speed, Drew, myself, we all, chose our football picks. We all chose our boxing picks. I'm actually just waiting on you and Adi Medi and Mexican boxing if he comes in. I know we were watching Superfly Rodriguez fight on Pro Box, man. We haven't really particularly talked too much about those fights. The Mexican G was telling us that he was very bored after the Gabe Flores fight. I guess he said that there was 2 fights after the Gabe Flores main event that were very boring and he just hated. The Mexican G goes, just look at OJ Simpson. What the flip? I forgot about Brian Castano. He gave Charlo Hell of a fight. I agree. What up, gang? What up with you, Vince? Oh yeah, and Rashidi Ellis, he was a good scrapper too. Yo, Vince. I can your guys' picks for sure. Yeah, it's just a friendly picks, brother. So Vince, I'm just gonna run down. There's 7 fights. Bivol versus Artur, Verger versus Madrimov, Shakur versus Padley, Big Bang Zhang versus Ajit Kabayel, Callum Smith versus Joshua Boazzi, Carlos Adames versus Shiraz, Joseph Parker. Let me know who you have, and then I'll just just type it in, and then I'll just fill it in. He goes, ha ha, yeah, the last heavyweight fight was funny. Gigante versus Fat
Mhm.
Pat. Did you guys watch any of the fights post Gabe Flores on Pro Box yesterday?
Nah. Oh yeah. My bad. I was
Yeah.
watching it, bro. I was watching. I pretty much caught into the like at the second round or the third round of the end, the Drew Superfly Rodriguez fight. You know,
Mm.
that's when I got in.
He was a
Yeah,
hell of
man.
a fight. Yeah, since we're talking about it, well, what you guys think of Superfly, bro? Like, what we think?
Good.
What do you
He
guys think?
looks he looks good, man. He it's just I don't know, man. That dude had a lot of power. Maybe moved down a little bit, but I mean, he looked like he looked I didn't this is the first time I ever seen him ever, even like in sparring. I never even bothered to like look him up on YouTube or nothing, bro. And I like his style. It's just he's got some work to do. Maybe he could have gotten a draw in that fight. Um but yeah, that dude was giving them pressure, man, and it all starts in the gym, man. But yeah, I see a lot of potential in him. I like him.
Yeah. I it was very impressive of Drew Rodriguez, right? Superfly, that he was able to go on fighting past the second, even the third round, homie Ricky, because I was watching the fight, right, like everybody, and I had the comments on. Man, there was so many people from even the first round. As soon as he started getting clipped in the exchanges, right, because Superfly was throwing combos, and the other guy was throwing combos with him. They were punching right at each other, trying to counter each other. The other guy was obviously getting the better, more flush punches because his punches were a bit straighter, a bit more powerful. And I saw Superfly. He was sort of slapping his punches, in my opinion. They didn't seem to have any kind of power, at least not in comparison to the other guy, right? So when they were exchanging in the pocket, it was Superfly that was taking the worst for wear, right?
Yeah,
So when he ended up getting cut in the second round from a wide punch from the guy from Kansas, if I'm not mistaken, he was from Kansas, and he gets his brow cut. Everybody thought that the fight was gonna soon be over. They, in fact, were saying that they should not only stop the fight because of the bloodshed and the fact that he wasn't really winning any rounds and he was getting seriously rocked. They actually thought that he was going to get knocked out. Like from the first round, when they saw the technique and they saw that he didn't seem to carry as much power as his opponent, people started to say that the guy in white, they called him the guy in white, was going to get knocked out. Now, I didn't think that was going to be the case. I have seen Drew fight before. This was before he became a pro. I've seen him, a couple of fights as an amateur. He was very elusive. He had very good at countering, good speed, not a lot of pop, but he was a very good natural boxer, and with good speed. That I knew that he had some mobility, some bob and weave. I knew that he could, get out of harm's way if he needed to. And of course, we know that his preference is to throw a lot of punches quickly. So I knew that he could fight back and win rounds by points, but I never once thought that he would hurt and especially knock out his opponent. So the fact that he went on for so many rounds where he kept the energy and even increased his output, in my opinion, versus the other opponent who ended up having to switch up his fighting style, who stopped throwing as much punches, who stopped chasing after Superfly. That gave the impression that Drew was actually winning the last half of the fight, right? Haven't been cut from both brows. Haven't had a tumescence swelling on this right side from the very first round, and still being competitive to the end. I thought it was very impressive. I thought he lost the fight 4 rounds to 2. If you wanted to be generous, yeah, you could say that it was a draw. I do not think that he won, right? But for a fighter, you got to understand, Paulie Malignaggi and everybody were talking up the fight, right? They were both undefeated fighters. Yes, the guy that beat him was younger by 2 years, so I guess Drew is like 21. The other guy must be 19, but the other guy had tried out for the Olympics, or was a former Olympian representative for some kind of a weight class. We know that Drew is not a former Olympian. Maybe he's tried out for him. I don't know, but that was not the story that they told. So the other
No.
guy obviously had a good experience, had taken extra levels to test himself, and he was so composed that even when he was hurt, he didn't really show it as much as Drew. And then we just go back to thinking about the kind of training that they get. We know that under the Ruben Villa gym, they focus a lot on defense, natural boxing reflexes, and outboxing and jabbing and things of that sort. It looked the same kind of fight style, right? Where they compromised a lot of the punching power. But at the end of the day, I think it was still impressive that he was able to fight another undefeated fighter. And I was just telling my son, because they're talking about taking him pro. I was like, look, it was a very good fight, but if they wanted to move this guy's career in a safer way, they should have not given him another young undefeated fighter.
Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, no, man. Honestly, I will say this. He had a good poker face, and knowing that there was a big cut on his left side of the face.
Mhm.
But as many people saw it, like 4-2 is being fair. Maybe you can even say 5-1, the other guy. Sortero, right? Because body language. Body language. If I'm being generous, you can make it 3-3. Because Andrew would do good work, especially after the cut, 4, 5, and 6. You could have made it his rounds. But body language alone, like you're doing good. You're landing a good couple body shots, maybe even stun the other guy, Sortero, a little bit. But it's his fight. It's his fight. He's pressing the action. He's throwing the better quality punches. He looks calm and composed. And like Paulie Malignaggi was saying, and now Vince is saying, fundamentally, technically sound, great punch technique. He looks like Paulie kept saying, he looks like he can go 10 rounds. He looks like he can go 10 rounds. Now, in the last 4, 5, 6 rounds, he was throwing much less punches than the first 3. But nah, man, I do like the fact that it was 2 prospects that were undefeated, 5-0 versus 3-0. Like those are the type of fights that you find out what you're made out of. Because like for my guy Jorge Maravillo, the fight that I always play, he has like 13 wins, 10 of them are by knockouts. But the guys that he's knocking out, no disrespect, but they don't even look like they trained. And Jorge hits hard, but he's not hitting that Triple G hard. Same thing with Angel Chavez. When these guys were getting early round knockouts, right? They're not really fighting anybody that looks properly trained. What happens when you fight somebody that looks the part? What happens when you fight somebody that might not look the part, but has great fundamentals? Guess what happens? He finds himself in a draw where he probably should win because he has the height, the reach, and in his last fight on the UFC Fight Pass, Jorge Maravillo has a draw. So that's why Justin Cardona, another pro fighter out of here, he fought Angel Rebollar, who gave Abdullah Mason his toughest fight before the guy that dropped him twice. They fought 4 strong, 6 strong rounds. And you're like, damn, Angel Rebollar, even though he has a record of like 5 wins, 2 losses, this dude is only losing to guys like Charlie Sheehy, Abdullah Mason, and company. That's when you really know what you're cut out of. And what happened to Justin after that loss? Guess what? I don't even think he's a pro fighter anymore. So we're going to find out now what Andrew's all about. You get what I'm saying? So it's going to be very interesting. I was very impressed with his temperament. And when things weren't going his way, excuse my language, but he didn't bitch out. He dug deep. I like that. Now, if he can just get a little stronger, if he can focus on his balance after he gets fatigued, maybe it's a different outcome. Maybe that blood, got him out of his comfort zone. And I liked what I saw. I was very impressed from that aspect, from a psychological standpoint, because everything else is only going to get better with time, right? His punch technique, his combination, his stamina, his strength, that happens over time. But psychologically, if my fighter has that dog in him, that's innate nature. You can't really, you either have it or you don't. And he has it. Now he just has to fine tune the other things that just come with experience. And that being said, Vince, I'm still waiting on 3 or 4 of your picks. Zile Zhang versus Ajit Cabello, Callum Smith versus Boazzi, Adames and Shiraz, and Joseph Parker versus Martin Bacoli. Let me couple. I'm not gonna read that one, the Mexican G, because I don't know, but I've never heard of that one, bro. Was humble in defeat in the post-fight victory. The blood was not a good look. Yeah, man. The Mexican G goes, apparently it's not common. It's not uncommon to see Teddy Atlas accompanied by the kickless in New York. I don't know, bro. I never heard of that one, bro.
That's wild.
I got Padley. Upset Bruling. Why not? Okay, for sure. It's Padley. I've never heard of that one. I mean, the Mexican G. I mean, I'm just I'm gonna stay away from that one. But yeah, that's funny stuff, man. Adi Medi, bro. I summon you, bro. Where are you at, bro? I need to get your football, your boxing picks for this weekend, bro. Text that guy, man. Where's he at? Hey, Drew. As we wrap this up, or just we kind of come down to like the wire. You have all of these fights that are happening this weekend. Made by Turkey Ali Sheik. Golden Boy, Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, Ben Shalom. Everybody has their hand in the cookie jar. Now, let me ask you, bro, is this format sustainable? Like, is boxing now always going to be, if Turkey Ali Sheik makes it? Because as Turkey Ali Sheik is making all of these fights and bringing all this spunk and notoriety toward his brand and the Ring Magazine and Riyadh Season, what fights is Eddie Hearn doing to develop his fighters? What about Golden Boy? What about Ben Shalom and Frank Warren? Like, do they care about their prospects? Because if it ain't Turkey announcing certain things, like these promoters just, hey, it's what Turkey wants. What's happening, bro? Is he buying them all out, or what's going on?
Look, hey, Speed. I hear a lot of wind on your end.
What?
Yeah, you're like Mike.
Yeah. What are you talking about? Oh, maybe it's the robe I'm wearing. Okay, I'll put it on mute.
But what's it called? Dude, I have this little conspiracy that I think they just like to build fights and then they pull out certain fights to build them up later. Because I can go down this rabbit hole, but this is the reason why it's feasible, right? You see what they did with Shakur and that and Floyd Schofield fight, right? Look, you see what
you mean?
Well, I mean, he went down. I mean, he got sick. Okay, he got sick, and so did Daniel Dubois, right? And obviously, people are getting sick, but you know how it is. Like, you try to lose more weight, you're gonna get even worse. Yeah. You do things to your body that actually make you worse. So and it's breaking down your immune system, whatever. And so I think fights in reality, bro, you remember when you were fighting, you felt like shit. You felt like shit. Like, you were like
tired, bro. I felt tired.
Yeah.
Like, what wanted to do? Remember, fell asleep in your garage, bro. Just like on the couch. I was done, bro.
Yeah. So I mean, certain fighters just don't react well to it. And I think fighters kind of deal with that, kind of like Virgil. I think Virgil was like doing that for a long time, and then he ended up passing out, right? But I think there's one of those things where he could have fought, right? But Floyd could have fought on Saturday, bro. But he just wants to be a little more 100% and maybe even learn to have some build-up fights, bro, because you see what happened. there's this thing where people are saying like he's trying to get this Tank fight. Because you
Oh,
see
George
Tank,
Schofield?
yeah, because you see Tank
No.
um accepted Turkey's invite to Saudi,
So
so
you think he accepted the invite to Saudi so he can scope out the man who's hospitalized?
well, now he's like, well, I guess so. That doesn't good.
Nah,
Sounds
bro. He
bad.
went there to
That
scope
sounds
out
bad.
Shakur Stevenson because, like, but keep going, because
Yeah.
All right, keep going.
Yeah, but you also see Dubai, put like he could potentially fight Usyk, you know. So I don't know. They there could very well be like a virus going around, um, but I think these guys just they're just pretty much. I don't know if it's feasible. Like I don't think it's gonna be feasible for a long time, but I think they're building profiles now. you
Mm.
know um so they're not done yet. Um they're doing the Grand Prix now. It's like, damn, like now they're really like making these guys like WWE, like like WWE characters type of thing, and they're getting this tournament going. They're calling it the Grand Prix or something like that. So I mean, at
Yeah,
this
the
point,
Grand
bro,
Prix
at this
is
point,
meeting though, but I'm
What
not
you said, the Grand Prix?
yeah, that's what it's rumored to be called.
The X is silent on that one.
Yeah, bro, the X is silent, bro. Imagine a Grand Prix. Hey, bro, you can call me a Grand Prix, bro.
I said Prix.
So I'm gonna put it like this, Drew. Hopefully Tank does go to the invitation because there Tank and Canelo, and I think there was another third fighter too. They were extremely reluctant to play ball with Turkey Al Sheik and quote unquote kiss
Oh,
the ring or bend the knee. Right? A lot of people were like, yeah, they're sticking to Turkey. They don't need him. And, they don't gotta call him His Excellency and all these things. But the way that I look at it is, bro, you gotta play along to get along. You get what I'm saying? Like these guys are giving you like
Well, now he's
they're being very, very generous, overpaying for you guys, right? They're flying you out in basically private class and all of these amazing hospitality and treating you guys like superstars. Why are you guys acting that way? Why is Canelo, Tank, and Timsu dismissive of Turki Al Sheikh? Just listen to what the man has to say. You get what I'm saying? And if I'm Turkey, see Turkey, he holds no grudges. But if I was Turkey, I'm like, nah, Canelo. I saw that lack of loyalty that you had with Oscar De La Hoya. I saw the lack of loyalty that you got with Eddie Hearn. We saw how you left PBC. I don't want you. You notice that we're doing great fights and great events over here. I don't need you, Canelo. And nor do you need me. Tank, yo, keep fighting all the Frank Martins of this. I don't need you either. I got my hands up with Kurt Devin and Ryan Garcia. I can do a trilogy between these dudes. Yo, Tim Su, continue getting knocked out by Murtis Eliev in Minnesota in the armories. You keep doing that. That's my only thing that I wish Turkey held against these guys. I wish it would have been like, nah, F y'all. Remember how
yeah,
you
dude.
guys were so dismissive towards me? So I wish he didn't fly Tank Davis out because now, like, these dudes, they're just hoes, bro.
yeah. So I agree, homie Ricky. But here's the thing.
Hold on. Keep on.
No, come on. Here's the thing about Turkey. He's not gonna allow his ego to stand in the way of negotiating or forgiving fighters, or coming back to the business table, to the negotiation table. Why? Because it's like I've told you before about Turkey. Turkey is the biggest fanboy in the world, and the most important thing that can happen for Turkey in his life is that these fights happen. Recall, Turkey is not in it for the business. Turkey is not in it for the money making. Turkey is in the business of he entertaining himself first and his people secondly, right? When Turkey Al Sheikh presents a fight offering, it's because he really wants to see that fight happen. Right? He's not thinking, oh, the boxing world is clamoring for it. Oh, this is gonna make me millions of dollars. Because he hasn't turned a profit, guys. He hasn't turned a profit. Last event that took place, the biggest fight card in the United States of America, sold about 60,000 pay-per-views, guys. Terrence Crawford, Madrimov, Bacoli, Jared Anderson, all of those guys, right? 60,000 pay-per-views in the United States. It didn't even fill half of the stadium in the city of Los Angeles, right? If Turkey Ali Sheik makes a fight happen, it's because it's a dream fight for him. It's a personal thing. And that's the reason why fighters like Schofield and Daniel Dubois, he will not look down on him and be disappointed and say, you screwed me over one too many times. I'll never give you this opportunity again. No, he wants him to be a tip-top shape. As soon as they can get in the ring, he'll do it again because his dream, his lifelong passion, now that he has an opportunity and the backing of Mohammed bin Salman, the Prince of Saudi Arabia, now that he has everybody supporting him to live his best life, that's exactly what Turkey will do. He's gonna make the best fights happen before and if something happens to his life.
Okay, so you
Remember,
cut me off just because you wanted to get that. Listen to me. So all I gotta say to shut down that notion that it's his lifelong dream. No, bro. He's not in it for the money or the business. Stop it.
okay,
Why do you
he's in
think
it for the money, huh?
Why do you think he bought the Ring magazine? Why do you think Elon Musk is trying to buy CNN and he bought Twitter? I'm sure they're not in it for the money, huh? They're not in it for the business. What are you talking about, bro? They're one and the same.
Homie Ricky, does you know how many billions of dollars Len Blavatnik has lost to make the zone a hub for boxing and all sports? He hasn't turned a profit. He's probably lost
Look,
about $10 billion.
Look
You
how
know that, right? It doesn't take a genius to know that there is no money to be made in the sport of boxing.
nah, dude.
to whom?
According to the business practices. Look, HBO is out of it. Showtime is out of it. Golden Boy is looking for a home. The Zone is shedding billions. Like, it doesn't take a genius to understand the sport of boxing is no longer in favor. It's no longer in vogue like it was back in the 70s, back in the 80s, and maybe even the 90s. It's not the same sport. There's so many other things that take from the sport and entertain the masses. Right? You have to understand that. You have to be realistic. You're not going to tell me that the reason why the PBC has been bounced around from network to network is because they're not profiting.
Lack of structure.
Okay, yeah, you got the answers, bro. These guys that have been in it for life, they can profit off of it.
No,
And
look. I'm being completely honest with you. They don't know what to do. They lack, they lack creativity, and going back to Turkey, even though he's doing business with Canelo and Tank, he's putting his ego aside. All of these other companies like HBO and Top Rank and Showtime, what were they doing? There was these civil wars going on. They were robbing each other's fighters, Abner Mares versus Akbenko. Highway robberies. They refused to do business with one another. What did Turkey's doing? Hey, it's okay. You were dismissive of me at once. It's okay. I have bigger vision. I have bigger goals. You get what I'm saying? I would have held a grudge towards Canelo. It's like, nah, bro, you beat all your PBC fighters. You refused. You didn't give Caleb Plant to land on the zone for the undisputed. You went and gave PBC all that. I would have held a grudge. But these guys, they're in it for something much grand. You get what I'm saying? So I'm sure they just bought the Ring magazine just for shits and giggles, just because it's a lifelong dream to own a Ring magazine. Like, no, bro. They're in it for influence, cornering the market. They might have not turned a profit, the Russian guy that you said on the zone, but look how much closer they are now than they were then in terms of the only platform to watch boxing is on the zone.
And there's only one.
Full of fighters left. All they need is Top Rank to go over there. Market is cornered. Boom. And I'll say this. The basketball numbers are down. Every other sport numbers are down. You know, one thing that I hear, boxing coming up.
Yep. And that's the thing. There's only one Ring Magazine boxing organization. Only one or like there's no other organization, not bare knuckle boxing, not misfits boxing that can go out there and say the person who wins tonight and wins this belt is the best in his or her division, one of the best at least.
And not only that,
Mhm.
Netflix is getting in the sport of boxing too.
Yeah.
Getting their foot in, with Jake Paul. But the zone, they see all that. If they can get Tank over there, if they can get Canelo Alvarez, even still play ball with Tim Tszyu, if they can get Top Rank over there, bro, now they have structure and they have everybody. And at the end of the day, like the Mexican G says, it's always about the money. Money talks. And these guys are being extremely generous, flooding the market with better intentions, proper promotion. Turkey, who's actually accessible for interviews and doing his own thing, where Al Heyman was not doing these things. And that's the difference. There's a couple of things that boxing needs to do besides like the prevalency and the influence with magazines and making people really tune in. All they really need is scholarships, starting from the amateur program, going into high school, giving people, these fighters, grants and jobs and all of these things. Make sure that they're still in the Olympic Games. Once you have all that and you follow these kids from youthful all the way to adulthood, by the time that they're 20s, you already got to start. If you properly structure and copy like in the NBA, MLB, NFL, bro, they're so close. I don't know if Turkey has those visions. I know that he's trying to make the Las Vegas, Saudi Arabia. That's like his intent and that's his promise to the his people and whatever the case may be. But in terms of proper structure and having all one place and one thing, the zone is going to be known for that, boxing. And if they have Canelo, Tank's flying himself out. Maybe he's like, hey, I'll get you those Ferraris. But hey, neither here nor there. I don't even want to get into the situation. I wanted to talk about Floyd Schofield. Tank did not fly to Saudi Arabia to check on Floyd Schofield in the hospital. He came out to see an opponent, Shakur Stevenson. Maybe he steps into the ring. Maybe, he sits next to Turki Al-Sheikh. Maybe they boo Tank, whatever the case may be. But he's got his eyes on the prize. I want to be very hard on Tank because I dislike how he's moved all about his career. And he's promised to do a lot of things that he's failed to do. And that's to fight Teofimo, Shakur, Devin Haney. Hell, he even said Lomachenko and George Kambosos he would fight for free. F the belts. So he's got a lot of fighters that I still feel that he needs to fight before he can retire. So that whole retirement talk, I don't know if it's a scheme or a ploy to get people to tune in, but whatever the case may be, man. Again, I'm very excited of the potentiality of these fights. And Turkey is putting his ego off to the side and be like, you know what, Canelo, Tank, come over here, bro. We're doing something, and I want you guys to be a part of. I would have been, again, I already stressed this enough. I don't want to repeat myself, but I would have handled things differently and just continue to do what he's doing. But no one does a proper promo buildup. The Game of Thrones situation. Artur better be and Bivol as Jon Snow. Deontay Wilder and Big Bang Zhang and Anthony Joshua as zombies. Dude, it's fantastic understanding of, what was it? Anthony Joshua versus, as a Mortal Kombat computer game. All of these things may be wasteful, money and like, nah, bro, we don't really care about that, but it's working.
It's on YouTube now. We could see that shit forever.
It's free. Everything that we've talked about for 4 years, guys. Man, why doesn't PBC give us the full fight immediately? Bro, Turkey uploads it the following night, and you get to watch it out. Like, bro, everything we've asked for, full fight highlights, the zone, they're listening, bro.
And we still pay for it.
They're basically what we've asked for, but they can actually make it happen. And I'm like, all right, bro, I'll play suit. The Mexican G goes, man, I flip-flop. I rock with Jive Turkey now. Ever since he shut down
Jive Turkey.
Oh
Jive
man,
turkey.
dude.
Jive turkey.
Uh,
It's like the Mexican G traveled to the 1970s, to the era of Malcolm X and Jive turkey. That's hilarious.
yeah, dude. You guys are fucking funny, bro. Um, yeah, man. So I'm extremely excited how close boxing or turkey and they've come so close. There's just a couple of things left to do, but once they can get that, bro, I think boxing will get back to its heyday. I have great things. I mean, I'm hoping for great things from the Ring magazine. Whether it's magazine cutouts, whether it's fight posters, whether it's trading cards, whether like I want to always give out my like visions or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. Well, don't.
They're so close, bro. Like boxing is so close. But let me see.
Homie Ricky, I tried to subscribe to the Ring magazine. I tried to get a subscription, right? So it's $60 on the deal, right? And $60 if you pay it up front, it's $60 per year. It boils down to about $5 a magazine, right? Uh, but the shipping is $90. So
Wait,
the membership comes out to be like $140, man. And I was like, what? So
wow.
it really boils down to just getting it digitally. It's almost like they they don't want to print, right? And if you're gonna print, they're only gonna print as many as they can get to paying $160 here in the U.S. because it gives you a whole list of the countries that they can ship out the magazine to, right? It has like 150 countries, and each one I'm sure that has a different type of fee associated with the shipment, shipping and handling. But it was like $140 for a 1 year membership. That boils down to like I don't know, man, like $10 a magazine or something like that. $15 a magazine. That's why I haven't subscribed. I was gonna ask you guys if you guys wanted to pitch in for a yearly membership because I don't want to miss out on those magazines either. I think
All I
I
heard
think
is when you order the print
mhm.
and the PDF, it's gonna come in a prestige package.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I assume they're gonna throw in some sneakers in there. Hey, I'm just
And
saying,
a couple of gold bars, huh?
the shipping? Like, what the hell are we talking about here, bro? When I ordered the Canvas magazine from Eddie Hearn, right? He had his own like Ring magazine called Canvas. I think he already had issue two out. It was just basic, bubble mailer. But if you're paying, but there was like $10 for shipping from the UK over here to States. Turkey Alley Chic, bro, he gonna throw in like a prestige box with some like if you buy like some special edition Jordans or some, Steph Curry's Under Armour, it comes like prestige boxing. It's got like, designs. Hey, it better be that for $90. What the hell? I didn't even know that. That's expensive.
Bro, look it up on YouTube. Look it up on YouTube. See how they open up the package.
Wait,
What
But yeah,
people?
that
Wait, I thought it was gonna come out next month.
yeah.
oh,
Read magazine. They've already
maybe previous months though. Like what about the one where Fury fought Usyk? They had their own, release. Like I don't know, maybe on YouTube it'll like people will show how it came and stuff like that. But yeah,
Let me ask you guys something. Um,
I got the
with
PDF file. But yeah, go ahead, my
so
man.
these guys
with what happened this week, right? Two big fights happening, right? Like for example, I think we can all agree that Shakur Stevens as a fighter is an unexciting dud, and now having to fight a guy that's even lesser of a puncher than he and Josh Padley, I think we can safely say that that fight is a dud, right? Um, in the case of Martin Bacoli standing in for Daniel Dubois, the one thing that you have to really consider is the fact that the fight doesn't really lose its allure. The fight is as dangerous as it gets. In fact, one might say even more dangerous for Joseph Parker because now Joseph Parker is not going to have an opportunity to fight for a belt. Daniel Dubois holds a belt. Martin Bacoli does not, right? So we have to give praise to Joseph Parker for having accepted that fight when the stakes are higher, and the pay likely hasn't changed, right? Um, but the risk has. The stakes are higher, definitely. Maybe there's a better recompense, proper payment for having to take a last minute replacement that you're not training for, but also you're doing it without a belt on the line, right? So I think Martin Boccoli is a good stand-in for Daniel Dubois. I think it's very potentially exciting, but is the fight still something that
right there.
entices you guys? Are you guys still very excited about this card, or did something happen when Schofield, which was literally, guys, the best prospect at the moment to take Shakur Stevens
Do the one
because
in the
styles
middle.
make fights? Do you guys think something was
Yeah,
taken from us as fans for that fight?
that one.
So there's right here. There's these. I typed in the Ring Magazine print, and there's these two shorts. So this one might have been on January. So I don't know if this person.
And it looks sealed.
But I don't know. He didn't do like a whole packaging.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't think it came like that. I think maybe it came like in a, it's, obviously like a either like a parcel, like a yeah, like a little bag or maybe a box. I would prefer a
Yeah,
box.
it's kind of what I left a comment on this guy's right here. This one, because I remember this one. This is the one that they were showing Turkey Ali Sheik when he interviewed. Where he was like, "Oh, I'll go for this guy," you know. This guy actually flips through the page, but I don't see like a trading card. I don't see it, being unpackaged or revealed. Yeah, I don't see the Bivol versus Artur or Tyson Fury versus Usyk. I know that there was like this big old fight poster that you can purchase,
Mhm.
but I
Right
don't
there.
see. It just looks like the Canvas magazine, kind of like a collector's item. Might not be worth it, like the physical copy.
Well, I got the PDF file. I can
Yeah,
send it to
PDF
you.
file would be pretty cool. I think just because it just looks a little basic.
You want me to send
And
it to
now
you?
again, this is for right now, so.
You want me to send it to you?
Yeah, Vince, all of those fights are going to take place this Saturday, bud.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I got the PDF file, and it's basic. I mean, it doesn't really come with much. It's just, I thought originally I was like, oh, $10, I'm gonna get it, and then come to find out, I only got the PDF file. So I was like, okay, $50 for just shipping, or how much did you say? 60? I don't know, but yeah, that's
60 for
pretty.
the magazine print and $90 for shipping.
Damn, that's ridiculous, man. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's just something else, man. So I don't know if it can be feasible. I think it's like more of a bigger, like it's a long term plan that he has, and he's barely like in the building phase of this whole thing. I feel like, because you have ESPN coming from, ESPN top rank coming from ESPN, potentially, So I don't see
So let me
where
ask you
else.
guys this.
Yeah.
Is the pay-per-view $25 or is it,
No,
the zone subscription and then the pay-per-view is 25
you
bucks?
don't you don't have to get the subscription. You can get directly buy the pay-per-view separately from the subscription, but eventually you are going to have to pay for the pay-per-view regardless if you have the subscription or not.
Got you. And since I don't, let's say I know Speed has a subscription, but let's say I didn't have the subscription
Mhm.
and I just bought the pay-per-view. Am I gonna own the pay-per-view and continue to be able to watch it or no?
No, no, but Turkey's going to post it on YouTube. No, it is.
But let's say I disconnect my internet.
What? Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, what happens then? Like, can I
Well,
still watch it? Be
you
saved to
can
my TV?
you can buy the upgraded version of YouTube, and you can download the video.
Now, let's say for argument's sake,
Oh, you just want to
the
argue.
my TV. Nah, I hear you, bro. Yeah, look, man, we talked a little bit about. I don't even know, bro. We're kind of all over the place, to be honest with you. So that's my fault. But
Mainly about Turkey.
Floyd, a lot of people are saying that he was scared, that he flaked out on this fight, that it was just a ploy to build, his brand. Some people are even saying Bernard Hopkins rubbed some cream to get him sick, like he tried to rub.
Wow.
So, because Golden Boy was not a big fan of Floyd Kid Austin fighting Shakur Stevenson. He was like, he's only a baby. He's 21 years old, guys. You know what I mean? That's Oscar for you. So my thing is, I know Oscar right now, he's not crying about it because he probably had his own intent of building Kid Austin slowly but surely. And he knows that, like, I can build this to a star. He doesn't just want to serve him up in a platter. So I got two questions for you guys. What do you guys believe has gone on with Floyd Schofield? And last but not least, why is Oscar De La Hoya babying all these fighters when him as a pro fighter didn't baby himself? He fought all of these dudes. Why is he acting like this as a promoter?
Let me go first since I gotta take a quick shower. But what's his name? Oscar, bro, talks highly of Shakur, bro. Matter of fact, he thinks he's the best fighter he's ever seen. So I know what's his name? Floyd took this with good intentions. He took this fight with good intentions, thinking he was gonna make weight and fight, and it didn't pan out that way. But he got sick. But I think Oscar's also kind of relieved, and you kind of sense it because he's not disappointed. And just how he gave Floyd Schofield a C in his last fight. So I think in reality, internally, he thought he wasn't ready either. So there is conspiracy theories saying, Oscar's just, you know, behind all this, and he's saving his investment and all that. But you got Daniel Dubois, who was actually favored in this fight against Joseph Parker, and he ended up pulling out. So it makes you want to believe him. Floyd Schofield is, at least. But I just think Oscar knows that Floyd has some work to do. But
Canelo, when he fought Floyd Mayweather, this level of exposure, I'm just saying that that was a radical take that I said that Bernard Hopkins rubbed the cream on skill. Like, I get it, but it just say if that were to happen, or even Oscar De La Hoya being against Floyd Schofield, building his own mega fight and fighting Shakur Stevenson, it's great exposure, bro. You're gonna learn so much about who you are, what you need to work on in a boxing, in an aggressive standpoint, all of these things. A tactical standpoint, do you need to hire a different coach or another coach in addition to your staff? All of these things you're gonna learn from the great experience of Shakur. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, you're young. This dude's not gonna destroy you like Bud destroyed Spence. So it's just like, I don't know why Oscar is the way that he is with like Cepeda fighting Tevin Farmer again. Put him in there like you fought Shane Mosley early on, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., Trinidad, all of these guys, bro. Like Oscar, from fighter to promoter, like, bro, these are your children, Oscar. Throw them in there, man.
Yeah, man. And he's relieved, man. So it's just, with him, bro, like he just knew Shakur was gonna run. But I'm with you, man. I think Floyd could have actually caught him, and I wanted to see that. I want to see how Shakur responded, because Floyd did some good things in his last fight, and I feel like it's just one of those things where he just needs to boost his confidence. Look at Daniel Dubois, bro. Like, he's almost not even who he used to be anymore. He's a whole different fighter. It's because he's confident, and it's how he's fighting. He's fighting at a whole nother level, and he's the one that pulled out. So I think Floyd could potentially be like a Daniel Dubois in a sense, and actually see what he actually finds out. Damn, I'm good at doing this, or I'm good at doing that, and actually becomes more of a dangerous fighter, because he's actually explosive, and he has a really good jab. Like his last fight, he was showing a really good ass jab, and I was like, damn, you can do really good against a Shakur. Damn you, dude, I need to take a shower. So I was gonna ditch speed, and I told you that. But yeah, man, Floyd Schofield, Um,
Bro,
yeah,
you're a choke dog, bro.
nah, dude. Because honestly, I was gonna say this, and I was gonna go take a shower, and this guy left.
Uh, they will say it, and then you can go take a shower, bro. You don't have to just stop dead in your tracks like if
Nah,
all of
dude.
a sudden you just
I'm not because
froze there. It's incredible, bro. You
I did
always
not.
do
I
that.
only stopped for 2 seconds, and you're just on me like that. That don't make no sense.
No, you even said, damn it. You even said, damn this guy. Like, it's ridiculous. Just say your thing, bro, and I'll handle the rest, bro. It's ridiculous.
You can be by yourself.
I held my own show, bro. Like, I've interviewed people. Yeah, I can do it.
All right, so I gotta go.
Say your point.
Huh? I already did. I said that Schofield can be like could just needs to improve on his confidence and see what he's good at. Obviously he's confident, but he just needs to see what he's good at because obviously his last fight he got clipped. And he fucking almost got knocked out and Oscar gave him a C.
Mhm,
So he doesn't speak highly of him. And I just
mhm.
said that right now, but you weren't listening.
No, I wasn't listening.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I just said that. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's and then he speaks highly of him, bro. He says, "Oh, like he was on a couple shows, saying like this is the best fighter I've ever seen." You know, so he speaks highly of him, and I just feel like he's. I was gonna say he's protecting his assets, but he's technically not doing anything. He's just you know, um, saying what it is, and they went to the hospital because once you once you inject yourself with an IV, you're disqualified. Or actually, once you sign yourself into a hospital, you cannot fight. And they're saying that he even passed out.
Yeah.
But who knows? Who knows if he passed out or not? But once you get that IV in you, bro, like those fluids in you, it's done.
Mhm.
Like you're gaining weight and you are replenishing your body with what it needs actually. But um, yeah. So and they had a decision to make. Do I feel like shit already? I seen a picture of him saying of him on the scale and he was 3 pound 2.8 pounds away.
Mhm.
So that was, and he
Yeah,
looked
so he
good.
was gonna make it.
He was 2.8 pounds, and he was on TVV in the interview, and he
Mhm.
was, and they showed all that, and it's like, dude, he's gonna fight. And then for
Yeah,
him to
of course
say,
he's gonna fight.
yeah, and then 2.8 pounds is nothing a week
Nothing.
out or like 5 days
Mhm.
out,
Mhm.
So to me, it's fishy, but we gotta I
Let me
guess
ask you something, Dream. Because here's the thing, right? Okay, look, and I'll make it quick, right? Oscar de la Hoya, in your impression, Oscar de la Hoya is trying to protect his asset, right? He's uh, he's content that if Floyd Schofield is not fighting Shakur Stevens, whether it's for sickness or for whatever other reason, right? He's, in your opinion, happy that that fight's not happening because, according to you, Shakur Stevens is one of the best fighters, if not the best fighter boxer he's ever seen in his life.
according to
And
him.
Floyd Schofield is too young and inexperienced, and he was gonna lose, especially after having a C level, a C graded fight. Okay, but if Oscar is the promoter, isn't this the best way to promote a fighter that's actually relatively unknown and very unaccomplished in Floyd Schofield? I mean, for the most part, if you look at Floyd Schofield's record, he hasn't had any noticeable big names on his resume. Right, the best name was Giron, the guy who actually dropped him. And Esteri Suero, who's Ismael Salas trained boxer, but he's very dirty. He had a fight that ended up leading to a lot of lacerations in his face. Suero was being very dirty. Okay, so we don't count that one. He don't drop him in the, again, like you stated, he almost knocked him out. It was a C grade fight. But if you have a guy that you're investing a lot of money in and he doesn't look too good, and it seems like he's gonna lose anyways, even to no-name guys like Mexican Giron, who's way shorter than Floyd. Why would you not want him to fight for the biggest purse against the guy who everybody says is gonna beat him? The way I see it, it's high risk, high reward, which is really what you want, right? Because you don't want to have a high risk, low reward, or low risk, no reward kind of fight, right? If you think you don't have a winner in Floyd Schofield, and Turkey Sheik is offering to pay him and you millions of dollars, and you think he's gonna lose, and everybody thinks he's gonna lose, why
Look,
wouldn't you allow him to take that fight?
look, there's fights that you can lose and you can still look bad, or you can still look good in the loss. And
Hmm.
and honestly, like uh this I think this fight was a low risk fight for Floyd. He was not gonna look like horrible. He was not gonna get hurt. Um because there's like knockouts, and then there's like Terrence Crawford knocking out Errol Spence type of whooping.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
was not gonna be that.
yeah, and that was not going to be that. Those are the type of fights that really just would like cut your checks in half, you know.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think with Schofield, he wasn't it was a good notoriety fight.
Hmm.
Um but again, there's this conspiracy that I'm going off of, that he is waiting for a Tank opportunity.
Who,
Because
Schofield?
yeah, because now Tank is listening to now he's talking about, I'm willing to fight Devin now, because guess who's Devin with?
Mhm.
Turkey. So I think there's something going on in the background, because Tank has suddenly changed his tone a little bit. But that can also mean um that could also mean that can mean anything, but that's just a conspiracy. And for Schofield to cancel out of this fight, and for his dad to make him look this bad, like
Yeah,
Floyd, the Floyd Schofield's Jr.
senior.
He
Oh,
yeah, Jr. didn't say anything,
yeah.
right? He did not say anything. His dad is single-handedly, um, you
Speaking for
know,
the guy, right?
yeah, dude, and making him look bad. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how true any of this is, your explanations are just too much, you know? And why would you want to post a picture of your son damn near dying on the scale, you
Yeah.
know?
Can you
Like, why would,
remind us of all
yeah.
the things that the senior said? Remind us how
Oh,
incredible that some of
oh,
these accusations are. They're
no,
allegations that he's
dude.
since retracted.
So I'm on, obviously I'm on TVV because, yeah, no, because last week,
They're good
bro,
reporters.
this week, I think, yeah, this week, I think this week they were on, getting interviewed, and this guy was saying, the dad was saying, "Oh, they're breaking into our like they broke into our house and ripped out the page of our passport." And then they accused him of that, and then they accused him of poisoning. And it's like, dude, that's just way too much. And then he's smirking, you
Popping
know.
tires.
And then and he's popping tires, and he's smirking while he's saying all this. He goes, "Oh no, there's police reports." And it's like, nah, dude, like, show us the police report then. It's on investigation. I don't know, like, and they're accusing Shakur of all this, and it's like, bro, like that, like there's some fishy going on. Like what, like this only happens if somebody's like telling them, like, dude, do something about this. Like, you gotta duck, you gotta like do something. Like I feel like sums up, because they were talking a big game. They were talking a lot of shit about um confidently. I mean, they were saying how they had a good chance of beating Shakur and all this. And it's like, damn, dude, like, you're almost making me a believer. In his last fight, he showed me that, damn, he has a good jab, and he actually can uh upgrade and actually improve as a fighter and make adjustments. So I'm like, okay, he's solid. And I don't know, it's just his dad's just making him look bad. And then how his dad like tells him, like mid interview, he's answering a question, and he's just like, he just, and he, like, you hear that, and it's like, bro, and then you see his son looking at his dad, and he's like, and saying something like, you can't. He's mumbling something. He goes, you let me talk
What?
to you, dude. Yeah, like the interview prior to this one, and I'm like, dude, like
Wow.
this guy's like literally snapping his balls off, bro. Like this guy is taking out the dog in him, bro. Like get
But
this
you
man
see,
another trainer.
I think I saw an interview. I think it was a new channel. I can't remember, but most recently this past week, and I think they may be associated with Riyadh season because they've been having great access to some of these fighters, and they had Floyd Schofield. It's that famous one, the one that took place about 3 weeks ago, where Floyd Schofield is sitting closer to the edge of the couch. The father's in the back, and some people were making fun of him because it looked like Floyd Schofield was sitting on his father's lap, right? And and they were saying that his father looked creepy because since the dad was in the back of Floyd, uh, it looked like every time Floyd was talking, it looked like Senior was looking in the back of his head, like just like a little creepy vibe, right? And when Floyd Sr. was telling this interviewer that they had slashed the tires of 5 different rental vehicles, this is the thing that I was like, okay, maybe the dad is cap, but I really believe Floyd because Floyd doesn't really say anything. And when he does, he's very respectful. He said this, he goes, "No, dad, I think it was 5." And I was like, wait.
Dude.
Are
And then
you are you stating that you're in agreement with what your dad is saying? Like, are you adding on to what he's saying? Like, I thought really was like he said they broke into their place that they had a mole that Shakur Stevens and them had a mole that was hanging out with them. So obviously they're trying to say they know who the person is, and all of a sudden when they had this person that knows both of them, right? This all these strange things go on. They start ripping pages from the passport, which leads to them unable to fly on time, which leads to them not being able to make it to that first famous presser that everybody thought that indicated that the fight not might happen. 4 different vehicles get the tires slashed, and according to Junior, maybe 5. Right? This masseuse that put some white cream on Floyd Schofield and he gets sick, and all of a sudden he recants that, and he has to apologize to Victor Conti and Snack. Man, let me ask you something. Why would Floyd Schofield not want to fight Shakur Stevens? Knowing Shakur Stevens is pillow fisted, this fight makes a lot of money, and they already have sparring sessions before in the past. Why wouldn't these guys want to fight him?
honestly, I just feel like again, like it's just all suspicious, right? Like I just can't trust it. I mean, we have to take it for what it is as a fan, and for all the information that's coming out. Like there's no evidence of these guys lying, nor is there evidence of these guys telling the truth. So we got to take it as is, like we got to take it, you know, just for what it is, and then truth will set them free, because they're gonna see why. Um we're gonna see if it's true, whether or not they got sick, and whether or not, depending on how much of a whooping Floyd takes, if they ever fight, we'll see. But it would make no sense, and they would look really dumb if they were to take another fight, like say a De Los Santos, and a real dangerous fighter like that. It's like, dude, like you did all that to fight a dude like this. It's like not a smart move, because in this case you're in a loaded division. Unless you think you're gonna fight Devin, which that's probably another L, but an easier matchup actually, than Shakur. But he's busy, you know. Tank pretty much gave him a layout and said, "I'm willing to fight Devin, but he got to redeem himself," and that's what he said. So it's like he said that, and it's like all these guys are gonna be busy, and Tank's still deciding who to fight. In the meantime, and he's actually threatening us, I guess, by retiring. So he doesn't have too many options. to build his resume, it's kind of drying out a little bit, because all these guys are getting older and they're either moving up or they're busy, and who knows what's up with Ryan, so you got that, and I don't know. Yeah, and you're not a main event, so maybe they had other plans to instead they wanted to be in a main event, so the whole
That
thing's
makes
just
sense.
fishy. You
That's an
don't
interesting conspiracy. That's an interesting theory.
Yeah, but that's just a theory, I rather
Yeah.
just say he was sick, and so was Daniel Dubois,
Yeah.
and
Yep. If it's the flu, it's gonna spread to everybody.
yeah, so um like this Daniel Dubois one really like made me like, okay, I need to tread lightly. Like maybe he was telling the truth, So um imagine another person gets sick. It's like, damn, bro, just fucking stop this whole thing before everyone gets sick, But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of right now, but um yeah, man. So we'll see. We'll see. I think yeah, I think Floyd had no reason to duck. This was really like his opportunity um to build his name, because look at Rolly, you know. I see star potential in Floyd Schofield. Like I feel like he can be like one of the pillars, you
I
know.
agree.
So there can be more than one, but eventually you're gonna get the Carmels and the Abdullah Masons and Emiliano Vargases, and they're gonna be their age and they're gonna be like 30,
Mhm.
So they gotta hurry up and get that money because only one's gonna be on top.
Yeah, you man, you brought that full circle, and you really made a grand point there. I think everything that you're stating is logical. I think that theory works for somebody like Javante Tank Davis or Abdul Wahid, whatever you want to call him, because now whether he fought or not, now we know Floyd Schofield Jr. a little bit more, right? We know his name now, just off of clout. Really, that's all you can say. Clout from trying to chase after Shakur Stevens, right?
Yeah, and
But
you also see Ring Magazine, like they like to do this. They like to give out false information. They like to build a card, and well, I'm not saying that there's precedents of this happening, but I feel like there is a lot of canceling and rescheduling with Turkey, and I feel like they do that to build a fight, and that's what happens with a lot of things, with a lot of products, and they like to hype people up, and then boom, it gets rescheduled, and then it's like they're doubling up on the promotion almost, you know,
mm,
and they're making you go through a wave of emotions. That way, you feel a sense of FOMO to buy, you know, with the stacked cards. So I think this is part of their scheme right here, bro. Honestly, like that's just one of my like,
I've heard that rumor. I've heard that. But the thing
yeah,
about that dream is this. Look, like if you were to give me a list of the fights that have been canceled, right? You would give me Usyk versus Tyson Fury one. And which led to a postponement, not really a cancellation. You would have to give me Madrimov versus Terence Bud Crawford, which was delayed by a couple of months, right? After Madrimov had to reorganize his, so there would be that one. You would have to say Joseph Parker and Daniel Dubois and Floyd Schofield and Shakur Stevens. But the Shakur Stevens and the Daniel Dubois one, we can say that they may likely have the same origin, which is this is flu season or COVID season or avian flu season or whatever, and that will spread from one person to the next. So, in fact, we should cross our fingers that the next few days nobody gets sick, because if this is something that propagates and spreads from person to person, then everybody that was there in those close circles, remember, we had about 3 or 4 different interviews where all of the fighters are sitting down in close quarters, all in the line, all being asked all these questions by different people. They could easily get sick with the bug, right? People have brought up things like acclimation to the weather of Saudi Arabia. But listen, Saudi Arabia, I've looked at the weather. It's been a pleasant 70 to mid 80s. Now, it's a little hot for winter. I get that. And if you're from, the UK or whatever, yeah, the UK is always dark and gloomy and foggy or whatever. Maybe it's a difference of about 20 degrees hotter, right? So maybe it gets a little hot to get used to. But guys, I would say that these guys are inside buildings that are air conditioned, right? The biggest threat to any fighters is weight loss or their health or acclimation to the time change. It's really going to be any kind of possible jet lag, the rest patterns that get interrupted because of travel. Not so much the weather, unless they're out and about, you know, for large periods of time. What am I trying to get at? If we look at the fights that have been canceled, it's not because Turkey is canceling them. Eventually, he postpones them and does them again. It's these fighters, right? It's these fighters that are getting sick themselves. It's not Turkey's fault that Daniel Dubois became sick with some kind of viral infection. It's not Turkey's fault that Schofield, uh, and his father are bringing up crazy ass allegations from even a month back, saying that people have slashed their tires, breaking into their vehicles, ripped out pages from their passport, rubbing on creams on their skin that leads to poisoning. It's not Turkey al Sheikh doing it, guys. That would be a grand conspiracy. And the thing about grand conspiracies, right, is the more people know, the more those conspiracies get solved. And nobody can seem to riddle me this. Who's at fault for Schofield getting sick? Who's at fault for Daniel Bois getting sick? Right? Is it Turkey al Sheikh? Is that what you guys are going to tell me? I don't think so, guys. You may not like to address him by the name of His Excellency like I do, because I love Turkey. I've studied the man. I made one of my favorite episodes in my channel, or maybe it was in the homie Ricky's channel, but I made an expose, 2 hour long expose on who Turki Al Sheikh is, right? He's a sick man that may have a terminal condition. And as one of the biggest and wealthiest boxing fans, all he wants to do, if he must pass away in a premature death, is leave a legacy for us, the boxing world, the world that he loves, by presenting some of the most intriguing boxing matches that you can think of, fights that would otherwise not happen if these promoters were still unfriendly, like Mr. Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn and Oscar de la Hoya, and Bob Arum. If it wasn't for Turki Al Sheikh, this event on Saturday, it would never happen, right? When these things fall through the cracks, guys, let's not blame the guy who's inviting the best fighters to the world, spending the most money to make fights happen when he's losing millions, if not billions of dollars in these ventures. Blame the fighters themselves. The Mexican and the homie, they have this idea, right? And it doesn't even seem too far fetched. The Mexican G states, I'm convinced Schofield Sr. poisoned his own son. I have no doubt Schofield Jr. wanted all the smoke, but I think his dad had doubts. Look, Sr. speaks for his son. Senior interrupts his son. Senior doesn't allow his son to express himself. Senior, in other words, is controlling his son. He's controlling his son. He wants to dictate every single aspect of his son's career, maybe his life. Those people that control others, they're very manipulative. Maybe Junior is being manipulated by his father in a very, man, I don't even want to think about it. But if you guys know the story of Marvin Gaye and his father, Marvin Gaye doted after his son, right? He loved his son. His son traveled the world and everything, and he would give his father money. His father became a drug addict. I think he was addicted to crack. And Marvin Gaye, after his father was, very heavily addicted, like they say in Spanish, valiendo, VERGA, or in other words, uh, his life is just going through turmoil and shambles. He stopped providing money for his father because he knew the money was just helping to expedite the demise, the deterioration of health, and the continuation of his drug addiction. And because the father had so much involvement in the career of Marvin Gaye, he felt that he could do whatever he wanted with him. And when Marvin said, "No more, Dad," when Marvin stood for himself, Marvin's father shot him dead. I think the Mexican G may be onto something. I think Senior is a manipulator. I think Senior may be abusing his son, not sexually, but he may have some kind of mental control over his son. Remember, this is a man that fought his wife to keep the child after a divorce. That's very atypical, guys, right? When we think about the black community, we always hear the same things. Black men abandon their children. This is the exception to that rule. A man that fought to keep his son, and for that I commend him, I respect him, but he raised the kid all by himself. He probably sees Floyd Schofield as his greatest possession, as the greatest symbol of his accomplishment, not only as a father and a strong black man, but also as a person that molded a very strong and fit individual. And he doesn't want that child of his to lose. So maybe he talked him into a fight, or maybe he backtracked, maybe he thought about it himself. But what if he shredded his own tires? What if he ripped our own passports? What if his son is sickly because he poisoned them? I mean, the one common thing is this: the person who had access to Floyd Schofield Jr., the vehicles, and the passport was no other than Senior himself. And now I'm starting to think, if any of these things are true, the speculation of the Mexican G, and even mine now, do you guys think that Junior knows about Senior's shenanigans? Does he believe his dad? And if he believes his dad, is it maybe some type of Stockholm syndrome where everyone else sees the cat but he can't? Where other people may start to think his father is poisoning him, but he refuses to because he's a victim of that manipulation? I don't know, guys. Thinking about it right now, Floyd Schofield Sr. has a very, very strange look about his eye. Some type of sneakiness, like a little snake. I hope that Schofield makes it out healthy. I want to see him fight. I love the kid. Very humble, very respectful, very exciting. But I hope he's in good hands under his father. Because right now, whoever slashed the tires, whoever got him sick, whoever ripped pages from the passport, that person is a threat to Floyd, Kid Austin, Schofield Jr. And man, oh man, I hope it's not his father. Because these tales, these stories never end well. Kid Kansas fights tomorrow on UFC Fight Pass at Chumash Casino. Yep, that's right, Mr. Vargas. Kid Kansas, he was allowed from Top Rank to fight and make his bones however he pleased, and then he can resume his Top Rank contract once he's ready, right? So that's very considerate of Mr. Bob Barum. But yeah, if you guys want to watch Kid Kansas redeem himself, because he should, he's fighting a fighter that's has an upside down record. I think it's 7 wins, 9 losses. So he should be able to do that, right? And he needs that. He needs that. He got knocked out. He needs a gimme fight. He needs something that won't expose him to another consecutive loss, because we boxing fans are very hard on fighters that lose in a row, right? So he has to get that confidence fight back. So yeah, if you guys want, thank you very much, Mr. Vargas, for reporting that. If you guys do have the UFC Fight Pass, which I believe is about $10 a month or maybe eight or whatever, you can catch him tomorrow. Or if you guys are down south in California, like the Mexican G, you can just go to, I think it's Indio or Hot Valley Springs, or I don't know what that is, and go to Shumash Casino. Mr. Vince Vargas says, oh, the Mexican chief says, Schofield hit his wife in front of Schofield. What are you talking about, Mexican? How do you know all these stuff, man? Mr. Vince Vargas says, think it's his first since getting KO'd. Yep, it is. Mr. Vince Vargas continues to show Top Rank his IG, but I still don't think. I was going to ask about the Top Rank things. Drew in the lobby again. Man, you sure take some quick old showers, man. Well, hopefully, let me see if I could bring you on. Homie, if you're out there, man, Dream is back in the lobby, so bring that boy back in there. Let's have a couple of questions for him. And Mr. Vince Vargas says, a lot of fights on that card. Yeah. Um, guys, let me tell you, while homie Rick is trying to figure out how to bring this guy, Dream, back. When you guys went through the pandemic, right? I'm not too sure how the pandemic affected you guys. And you're probably, man, I want to move on. It's 5 years from the start of the pandemic. But I just wanted to tell you something. Yesterday, I went mountain biking with my son. My son, the boxer, my son that has a fight on Saturday here in Salinas, California. You're all welcome if you guys want to come over here to the Rock Boxing Gym, Salinas, California, 285 East Alisal Street in Salinas, 93905 area code. If you guys want to come on down, get that excitement going. I'm sure it's going to be a very family friendly, exciting event, like always, right? But anyways, I went mountain biking with my son, right? He had a day off, and me and him, we rarely ever have the same kind of schedule. But I had that day off because my wife was going to undergo a procedure. And as and When I brought her back home, it was still very early. My son's like, "What are you doing here, Dad? Are you gonna go back to work?" I go, "Nope, day off." He goes, "Let's go mountain biking." I said, "Okay." Now I've told you guys before, maybe you guys forget, but during the pandemic, in those 3 year span, guys, I gained an average of 7 pounds a year. So that I was weighing at 147 at my lightest, maybe like about 6 years ago, and I was teetering between 147 150, and all of a sudden I blew up to 175, 170, right? One of my highest days after being fully hydrated, I actually weighed myself, and I was at 178, and I was like, oh my God, that's almost 30 pounds, right? So I gained a lot of weight because I no longer had to go to the office. They sent me home to work remotely, and I could stay longer in bed. I stopped taking those mid-break walks and lunch walks with me and my colleagues from work. We'd walk around a couple of hours during a lunch break and so forth and so on, right? And I unfortunately did get the jab in order for me to continue working for that company. Whatever. Something I regret, something I resent them for, but I had to feed my family, so no big deal. It's like any father, right? I'll sacrifice my health for the well-being of my family. Long story short, because I'm 25 pounds or so now heavier than I used to do it when I was more frequently biking with my son, I get tired more, and I'm 46 years of age, right? So I it takes me a little longer before I can break into my second wind, right? And I'm taking more breaks, and my son's having to wait for me a little more to catch my breath, and then we take very difficult biking trails. Well, because I was a little tired, I told my son, "Can I trade you bikes, right? Because mine's a fat tire, very heavy bike, and his is like a very light titanium frame bike, and it's quite nimble, quite light, and you can do way more stuff." So we traded, and it started to rain, so we had to come back down the hill real quick. And because his bike is so light, I was very excited because I could do all kinds of tricks. So I started to press myself, just try to challenge myself going faster, and I was no longer worried about the bumps because I was like, man, this bike here has a very good shock absorption, right? Mine is single. Mine doesn't even have any shocks, right? His has front shock absorbers at least, and I pushed it too much, and I flipped over, went head forward. Luckily, I had we had bought in the helmet about 8 months ago, because I sustained a couple of falls, and I was lucky to just get scraped all over, but nothing in my face. So my son said, "I'm gonna buy some helmets." We prided ourselves on not using protective gear. So he bought us the helmets, and I fell on my head, and I sort of blacked out for a little bit. But because I also fell with my elbow jammed under my rib cage, I ended up knocking out my wind. Luckily, I didn't break a rib, but I knocked the wind out of myself, so I couldn't remain passed out. I started to breathe and, trying to catch my breath, and I started to just gather myself, right? So I'm all cut up, and I have bruises everywhere right now. It just happened yesterday. Let me ask you, did the pandemic affect you guys similarly? Did you guys gain weight, or what did the pandemic do for you guys? I'm just trying to understand if maybe I'm just overthinking it, right? Like, I've never been this heavy, guys. I'm still very athletic, right? I mean, I fell over the bike, cut myself real good. I didn't break no bones. I did push-ups with my, bum shoulder, and my knees all cut up, because that's my philosophy, right? Like the Native Americans do. If something hurts, you hit that area more and more and more, and you spread it around so that you don't have acute pain, but you have more dullness of pain, right? So I approach pain by attacking it with more pain. So if my arms hurt, I did push-ups. If my leg hurt, I started hitting around the area. So my question to you, right, is that obviously I still have my reflexes because I didn't hurt myself more seriously. But has the pandemic affected you when it comes to reflexes or your impulsivity or maybe in weight gain or something like that? Because I'm doing a lot of very stupid stuff, guys, and I don't think my body's holding up anymore. Has that happened to you guys, or are you guys so young that nothing affected you guys? Oh, look at Mr. Vince. He says, "I've gained, but I don't think it was the pandemic. What it was the Arby's or uh, the double with the animal style." Well, I mean that's good, right? In my case, it really did affect me, Mr. Vince Vargas. The stagnancy, the lack of mobility. I used to bike and hike every single day. They closed up parks on us for a while because of some local fires, and man, I don't know. I'm just trying to. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to find a way to blame the vaccine for having gotten so heavy. Man, let's see what Dream says. Oh, okay. The Mexican G elaborates, and he says, it's on video. Senior is on video hitting his wife in front of Junior. What? He was young in the video. What the? Yes, the Agua Caliente Casino is about an hour away from me, not too far. Well, there you go. The Mexican, if you want to catch some live fighting, there you go. Kid Kansas is a very good fighter. Because you eat meat now. Yeah, that's another thing, Dream. Oh, you are smart, man. Yeah, that's another thing. I was a vegetarian for about 15, 16 years. And then during the pandemic, as soon as it became, survival of the fittest, I started eating meat. So that, yeah, yup. You're good, Dream. You're good. All right. Un chorizazo is what he says. I stopped gaining it. He stopped gaining weight, according to Dream, since I went to the boxing gym. Okay. I was an essential worker, truck driver, freight. Good for you, Mr. Vince Vargas. Good for you. Rick, you there? Rick, are you there, bro? Dream wants to hop on, man. Let me send him a message. I guess sent it already. I had to pay my son's boxing dues. Let me hit up Rick. Send Dream back on the live, Rick. He is in the lobby. All right. I guess not. Yeah, I sent him a message, Dream. So hopefully he'll get back on it, right? Okay, so I was asking you guys, but these guys were talking about the Ring magazine, right? Good luck with your son this Saturday. Thank you, Vince. Windmill punch, yeah. The windmill punch. Yeah, so thank you for that, Vince. Yeah, you're welcome to come on down if you want. I know Salinas is an hour's drive away from you, and it's a small little town. You live in San Ho. You got so much other stuff to do, right? You got so many more options and stuff. But if you guys are into local boxing, right, a small time little guy, give it 100% type of boxing, come on down to Salinas. It's a nice little place. You'll feel welcome. Bring your family, bring your friends, whatever, right? um but there ain't nothing like live boxing, close quarters, great seats. There ain't nothing like it,
Yo,
right? Hey, look at you. How did you get back in there?
this man by the name of Rick let me in.
All right. Hey, you're good, Dream. You're good at this. You hit it on the nose. It's not the vaccine that made me get fat and maybe slow down my metabolism. It's the fact that I started to eat meat, right? That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, because right now, what's it called? I'm slowly losing weight. But it has to be like a consistent diet. And
Mhm.
pretty much like I like to eat like carbs. But that's the stuff that makes you gain weight. But when I actually go from like carbs to like meat,
Mhm.
like I get fuller faster with less, you know, and pretty much that like I get replenished faster, and I just feel like I eat, or yeah, I just replenish faster, and I just you know, I just gain more weight faster, I guess. But with carbs, it's like you need the right amount of carbs, and then I don't know, just depends what you're trying to do. But yeah,
Mhm.
man, that's what I'm surprised you weren't like self-aware like that, because honestly, like with the pandemic, um, you were still active.
Mhm.
You were still doing cardio, and I mean, it doesn't even look like you gained weight. Honestly, I don't know. You just probably getting into your dad bod, but uh, I
Man,
don't know.
don't say that. Don't dare say that, man.
No,
Yeah, no. So
because some people's activities, they don't be doing nothing all day,
yeah.
and you guys, I realize you guys get up and walk and do something. You guys, and some people are just so used to just laying down. Like myself, sometimes I lay down for a long time, but then I hit the gym and I go hard. I go so hard. But it has to be consistent movement. It has to be consistent movement, and that's how you get sick, man. But yeah, consistent diet, and you don't get, and you can melt weight slowly. It just at a certain point you have to be like, okay, this is too much weight that I'm losing if you go too hard, because yeah, losing weight can get addicting until you get
Mhm.
sick. Until you get sick, and you're like, damn, this is annoying. Because it's such a setback. You know, so yeah, that's why I go pretty much kind of go through what Floyd goes through, but I don't collapse. But dude, if I really wanted it bad, which I don't really want it that bad,
Mhm.
I can see myself like, you know, dropping weight, and then making myself believe that I can drop even lower, you know,
Mhm.
um, because I hit 127, but I mean, man, that was like starving me after a 3.5 hour workout, after doing solar all day on the roofs, and I was like starving after that. So it's like it's a lot, man. It's not easy. You can die, but you just gotta find your weight. You just gotta find your weight to tie it around. That's why Virgil Virgil's probably was probably going so hard in these training camps. It took a toll, and he ended up passing out. And then it took a couple weight classes for him to really like know himself. Um, there's a lot of instances where fighters are actually in the wrong weight class, and it's like they end up just moving up, and they're like, nah, I feel better right here, or they go through what I go through, and they get sick, and they're like, nah, I gotta keep moving up until I feel comfortable, or
Mhm.
else this boxing stuff isn't worth it. And I just feel like Virgil or Mario Barrios started at forget what weight class it was, 130, or I forget what. He was a really small guy, and
Mhm.
that ended up exploding to like 147,
Mhm.
and it's just crazy. And
He just blew right through 40. I
yeah,
think just
yeah.
really like yeah, that was crazy. He jumped like two weight divisions real
But
quick.
yeah, I mean, some people don't make it obvious, or they don't put it out there that they have a hard time making weight, but their actions show it as far as them moving up in weight classes. It's like, why are you
Mhm.
moving weight class if you were like if you're not really knocking dudes out like that? You're just overwhelming them, and you can see like he doesn't stop guys like he used to anymore. Like the Fabian Maidana guy you know
Mhm.
um so it takes time for you to like really fit into the weight class that you that you can do, and it's another level of discipline, man. And that's why Crawford did almost what Mario Barrios did, right? As far as like his path and what weight classes he moved up to, but he never got sick. He never passed out on the weight scales, and it's because he remained small, or he was small enough to really move down or move up those weight classes, and he filled in really well, you know. And with Barrios, he's a 5'10", 5'11" frame, you know, and that's like there's a lot of there's a lot of bone to fill, you know, with meat or with muscle. I mean, no, pause, you know, but but yeah, so um, yeah, so yeah, it's those instances, and for us non fighters, you got to be like, okay, like what do I want to look like, and because that's what it is, you know, you just want to look like you just want to have a certain image in your head. Like I kind of don't want to get fat, but I don't want to get like I don't mind not being ripped, you know, like but yeah, so it just depends on your daily activities and all this stuff. And that's why some fighters, bro, some fighters got it twisted. Like some fighters are so uneducated in the boxing game, and they just want to look good in the ring, you know, and it just makes them um it makes them look when they're fighting, at least it makes them look robotic. It makes them look like horrible fighters. And yes, they're training hard, and there's a lot of instances where kids go off and lift weights on their own on the side while they're boxing, you know. And it's like, dude, like this is why you're so like this is why you're so uncoordinated, because you did those lat raised those you bench press 2 plates the other day, and that you're strong as shit. But now it's like, dude, you have horrible footwork because your footwork can't handle the forces coming up from your upper body, you know. And yeah, and I've seen that firsthand, bro. I've seen that firsthand in other gyms or with my uncle's gyms, and there's no weights there, you know. I mean, there is some weights, but they don't have those weightlifting weight, you know, like those bench presses that Rock has, you know. Um, but they go off on their own. They end up just pushing a lot of weight, and then it's like they look ripped and all, but it's like great. Now you're like 20 pounds and away from your actual weight class, and you're ripped. It's like, all right, bro, I don't know what you're trying to do, you know.
They don't know.
Yeah, it's like I don't know what you're
That's
trying to do,
hilarious.
you know. And there's instances that I know instances right from my uncle's gym, but at this gym, it's more like just kids just want to hit hard, you know. They just want to hit hard, and they're just like, nah, I just want to be able to squabble. But yeah, it's a science. You have to be well balanced. You have to, and you can't go on and copy other workouts and go on YouTube and be like, oh, Devin Haney squatting this much weight. Oh, he's doing this. It's like, no, dude, you have to know how they're lifting the weights, you know. There's certain way you have to lift weights. And that's why I peep game with Jake Paul. He's not lifting weights like you should lift weights like a boxer. It's like you're lifting weights slowly, like you're trying to bodybuild, you know. You can manipulate your body to do a lot of things, and yeah, it's just a certain way you're supposed to work out. And that way you can, you know, have these explosive movements, um and not like, and it's all your joints, right? You're just messing up your joints whenever you're lifting all that weight. um and there's a certain way to lift weights if you're actually trying to bodybuild in a safer way. But I mean, nah, man, boxing is everything. Like boxing is health. If you do boxing workouts, you probably have low cholesterol levels. I don't know, it's just such a good habit to and a good science to know, you know. So
Let me
yeah,
ask
I
you.
like to have that. Yeah, go ahead. I'm done.
Let me ask you something else, Dream, because now I'm a little terrified, bro.
Why?
Well, I'm actually concerned for Floyd. Um, I'm not too sure, but I read it, but the Mexican G is under the impression that Floyd Schofield Sr. may be responsible for Floyd Jr. becoming sickly. And I don't know if you know this, right? But I've done work as an advocate, a person that defends others. I speak for them, I represent them. I can do, legal representation type of defense for people, right? I've won a couple of people cases like with unemployment and with the insurance claims, just things of that sort, because I know some legalese, right? I know how to prepare documents. And in advocating for some people, I was helping some people that they were from this place in Mexico called Oaxaca. Maybe they were from Chiapas, right? Um, but in those parts of Mexico, and for the most part in general, but and especially in those parts, they defer. The women defer to the men to speak for them. And I was working with this medical professional, and we were helping out this lady, and we were asking her questions. And every time we would ask her a question, she wouldn't answer. She would look to her husband, and then the husband started to speak for her. And again, the doctor would go on there and ask this question, and then she would look at the husband. She wouldn't say nothing, and then the husband would speak for her. And then eventually, the doctor said, "Sir, you cannot speak for your wife. She has to speak for herself." And they separated them, right? And I had to basically work as an interpreter for both of them. And the doctor was under the impression that the reason why the woman wasn't speaking was because the man was abusive. Like he would beat her up, that she was terrified of him. That's why she wouldn't speak for herself. That's why he was having to answer everything, right? And the problem with having other people answer for you is that they may not necessarily know exactly what you want to say, right? That's the fear of not expressing yourself. The fear of having others speak for you is that they may be misrepresenting what it is that your thoughts are, your opinions are, and you're deferring to others to speak on your behalf. It makes you look weak. It makes you look impotent, useless. It makes you look, very dubious in the eyes of many. And knowing cultures about Mexico, my job is a lot to analyze a lot of these things, right? I had to explain to the doctor eventually. I said, look, one thing that you have to understand about these cultures in Mexico is that the man, his role is the patriarch. His role is to defend and provide for the family, and the women always stay at home. Their culture has the man lead the woman, and it is not a thing that's not unacceptable. It's not unacceptable. It's actually acceptable that the man would do his job as the paterfamilias and run the household, speak for them, work for them, while the lady stays behind at home, raising the children and feeding the family. Right. So I had to explain that it wasn't necessarily uh, that they were probably in an abusive relationship. It's just that that is the tradition for those people, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, what does that have to do with Floyd Schofield and Floyd Jr.? Well, it's very similar what the Mexican just made me think, right? Floyd Schofield rarely ever says anything on his own. His father does every single thing of his speaking. And eventually you have to understand, right? If you never speak for yourself, then you don't have to think. If you don't have to think, whatever other people put in instead of your own words will become your own thought patterns just because you're accepting whatever they're saying, right? Let's just say that Junior hears his father say something that he disagrees with. The fact that he doesn't argue against it is Junior's way of accepting whatever his father is saying, even if he disagrees with it. Eventually, it's going to come to the point that he's just going to agree with everything his father says because he's never developed a thought of his own. And what I'm trying to get at is this: do you think Floyd Schofield Sr. is a manipulator that would be capable of hurting his own son?
No, no, I mean, off of inexperience, maybe, yeah. Uh I think they actually bring in another trainer uh to actually train them like during camp and all that.
Mhm.
But in the corner it's Schofield. And I think sometimes, yeah, it's that other trainer. Um I forget his name. It's not Ron. I think it is Ronnie Shields. Um but yeah, that's a good trainer. I think, look, man, this guy, his pedigree, bro, his amateur pedigree, he wasn't, I don't think he was traveling like the world or anything like that, but this guy got names on his resume. And this guy beat Abdullah Mason twice in the amateurs. This
Mhm.
guy got in the ring with I gotta look up names on because he actually is a national champion, a
Floyd
multiple time.
Schofield.
Schofield, yeah, he's like a multiple time national champion. So
Mhm.
he's he's at a certain level. We just don't know what level he's at. You know, he's not a bad fighter. Um, it just he just needs to work on a couple of things and maybe build his body a little differently. Because there's still time. A lot of the muscle that he has is up top, and I
Mhm.
think it's pretty much like he's dangerous when he's on the inside, right? But that footwork, man, it's not pushing that upper body like how it's supposed to, and
Mhm.
he gets caught, and he lunges over a lot because of it, because of his upper body being so explosive. But I mean, um, yeah, I think it's inexperience um, on Schofield Senior's part. I think you're supposed to put him in better positions because he was already been hurt. He's already been hurt against his last opponent. Um, and dude, I was like, damn, this guy's gonna get him out of there. I forget what round it was. I think it was the very last round or the second to the last round, and he got lucky, man. He got lucky. That dude had a hard time cutting the corner and and catching him to really like catch him for that finishing shot.
Mhm.
But he never did, and kind of got lucky, man. And dudes like Tank are just masters at that, at finding their shots and taking their time with you, and he's a bigger man too. So I don't know. It's just I'm not saying that Tank is the best, but you got dudes with power like Tank does, and it's like, dude, it's like they just got to build him right, man. Because you see Abdullah Mason get caught as well, but then you
Mhm.
seen him actually he likes to play that dangerous game, and it's like, nah, I think Abdullah Mason would actually catch Floyd Schofield slipping. Um, but I don't know. It's just Floyd got some work to do. Um, you just got to look at Daniel Dubois because he's not a unicorn, but there's a lot of instances where fighters catch fire and they actually get confident. And Floyd Schofield has every reason to be confident in himself, and to use his strength, um, against a Floyd Schofield. But he needs a better coach to show him that, path. Um, yeah, because you see, every father is different, but you see dudes like Teofimo's dad, and it's like they're still together to this day. But it's like,
But look how
just
much they fight, though. Like,
exactly.
so
So
that's what I'm saying. Like, are
it's gonna
these
be,
parents manipulators?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. Some of them can be, and you see, well, Devin's dad's the reason why they sued. So yeah, man, they can be very delusional is the word. Nah, um, I guess it can be the word for some of them, but I mean, especially Floyd Schofield's dad. But Yeah, you.
Delusional.
I don't know you.
But
Why you lie
can
so much?
he? Well, can he? Yeah, yeah, that's true. Well, maybe he's not lying. Like maybe it's manifestation, right? You the anti-water thing. You speak it, believe it, achieve it, right? But what I'm trying to say is this: the Mexican G is under the impression that this poisoning, as they say it, right, as Senior called it, that the poisoning may have actually been an action of him against his own son in order for his son not to fight. Do you believe that it is possible? The way that he manipulates his son's words, he speaks for him, he doesn't allow him to talk. In fact, I think you mentioned that he actually shushes his son. He claps and tells him to shut up, right? Do you believe Floyd Schofield Sr. would poison his son?
Nah. I think because in interviews, right? Floyd Floyd Jr. He was actually saying like, yeah, and I watch everything, man. I sniff my water if it's bad. I sniff everything if it's bad, and you know, you see him telling a story about like the you hear him telling the story about the car and the slash car, like the passport, the tires, and all this, and then he's like correcting him as he goes, like he's like, nah, this, like just kind of like trying to, I don't know, like make the lie a bigger
Less
lie.
of a lie.
Yeah,
Who?
no, like Senior was on the side, kind of adding more info, um, when Junior was explaining like all that passport, when he, the passport situation and the slash tires on the car situation and the poisoning situation, as he was explaining all that, he was adding more description to it, and he was like, just like Junior was keeping it short, but then Senior was adding more info. And he's like, we got the police report, and it's like, we have not seen the police report, nor has anyone heard of a police report in your surrounding camps. Like the people who are involved with all this, like they're saying no, but they're not like they're not going to be out here like shitting on Schofield Senior, because they know what it is. And they probably, they don't want to insinuate anything at the same time, but you add all this stuff, it's like you're making us want to believe one another. You're just better off just saying nothing and just saying my son got sick, you know? Like that's it. Like this whole once you opened your mouth, it made, like, I don't even care if it is the truth at this point. It's like, why are you moving like this? Why are you being so descriptive about everything? It's none of our business. Are they gonna fight or not? So I don't know. It's for me, none of that information did anything for us. And for him to say all that is a big waste of time, and just kind of shows you like how you move, you know?
Mhm.
Like you did not, that was unnecessary, even if it's true, just say he passed out, like, yeah, you're just trying to, now you're just scrambling. It just looking like you're scrambling for no reason or for a reason, and because of that, I just man, it's a bad look. You just made your son look bad, and he didn't even do anything, you know. Um, so for him to get admitted to the hospital though,
Mhm.
um, there he was already out of the hospital the same day. He went inside the hospital, went out in a few hours, and said, "Oh, we're all good now. He's all good." And it's like, I don't know. It's like it's kind of BS, I think they knew they needed to be omitted to the hospital in order for this fight to be canceled.
Yeah.
Um, and that was the only way. They needed to follow the rules as such. If I want to call in for work, I might have to request days off, you
Hmm.
know. And if I do all that, I can call in for as many days as I want. Not as technically I think I can, but it's got to be for a reason though. So they did all these parameters, all these protocols for this fight to not happen in my eyes. you know is they said you got to do all this in order to, like, the only way this fight won't happen is for you to do this, and they did that. you know um so it, it is what it is. I mean, this guy was on track of making weight 2.8 pounds, and he was on the scales.
Yeah, that's he was gonna make weight. In fact,
Yeah,
have you seen? I was gonna ask you, have you seen Shakur Stevens and the way he looks very drained?
dude, he looks super drained, and it's like it
Yeah.
shows you that he is Virgil Ortiz. Like, it just shows you that these guys are starving right now. Like, literally. And there's an interview, there's a ringside interview with all these guys sitting in a rounded, like, in the circle. Did we talk about this already? Yeah, I think we did.
Uh,
No, huh?
and there, no, but are you talking about that famous interview where the black guy is all laughing, is and
Yeah.
they're all miserable? They're all
Yeah,
looking on. It was like, oh, wow.
it was
And
so
I don't know
awkward.
if it was edited. I don't know if it was edited though,
Think it
because
was because I
yeah.
can't find that interview. I can't find that interview, and that guy was just embarrassing, man. Like,
Well,
bro,
again, I think it was edited to make it look cringe, right? I don't know if you
yeah,
guys know this, right? But there was this interviewer that I've never seen it before,
me neither.
right?
Yeah.
Obviously an American, because he had an American accent. He was African American, and in my belief, he was an African American. He has all of these fighters, all 14 of them, right? They're all circled around him, and he's right in the middle, and he's asking all of these questions, and every single one of them looks miserable. Like, there's Bivol sitting there all serious. Beterbiev very serious. This guy is cracking jokes and trying to make him laugh, and they're all deadpan with
Well,
their long faces,
you heard what
right?
Virgil said, right? He got
What?
serious. He
Yeah.
said, you've been effing around and pissing me off for the past 5 minutes. I'm just being honest right now. And then you see Carlos,
What?
yeah, and then Carlos Adames was sitting next to him, and he was like cracking up. He was like, like shoving, kind of shoving, Virgil
Virgil
Ortiz
Ortiz.
out of
Like, shut
laughter.
up, bro. Shut up.
He goes, "Ah," he's like, it's like, just, you could tell he was hyped when he said that, because it was like he's like, I'm just being honest, bro. It was so funny, bro.
Wow. What
Fucking
a
Virgil.
jerk, bro. That's
Dude,
so
no,
mean, bro.
nah, that's disrespectful, dude. Like, for somebody to just laugh in your face while you're starving, dude.
He wasn't
Like,
laughing at him, bro. He was just
nah,
trying to
dude, he was,
break the ice.
nah, dude. You don't, like, that's a very irritating thing to do around a fighter. Like, I remember how Rick was the day of the fight. Like, he
Hmm.
was not in a real laughing mood. You
Yeah, I
said,
know.
like,
I was there. I was there.
you want to be unserious now? Yeah, you're pissing me off. You know? So that was the vibe. Who cares about this interview? They're not getting paid. They're getting paid to weigh in and fight. You know? F this interview.
But
And
that's their job, though.
no, their job was to interview, not to make laughter. Learn how to set the tone of, like, I don't know, this isn't that wasn't it. That was not the vibe. Usually, bro, they're a lot serious, and they're like, okay, yeah, like, let's get straight to it, guys. And if they want to beef, and if they want to, let them set their tone. Don't you're not fighting. We're not gonna see you again. Why you trying to set the tone? Like, you ask your questions, and then match their energy if they laugh. I'm not match their energy if they beef with you, but I'm saying match their energy if they laugh. Yeah, but that guy was
Yeah,
just,
yeah. Now you're
was
making me think. I wonder what kind of questions he was asking him,
yeah,
because, like, I mean, they were so serious.
yeah.
Everybody, even like, let me see who's the nicest one of them, right? Of
Virgil
all
was the
those
most
guys.
pissed. Virgil was the most pissed,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the friendliest one was probably, I mean,
Daniel Dubois.
no, I mean, if they're not saying anything, they were just like making faces, but I guess, not I mean, Daniel Dubai was just, how he is. He's a gullible
but
guy.
he's
He's not
the
gonna take it.
friendliest guy, and he
Yeah,
was very serious. Did you
yeah,
see Shakur Stevens?
yeah. And he was serious too. Yeah,
He had his hoodie covered
I
over
guess
his beanie, and his hands were crossed on his shoulder, like he
I
has
guess
arms
Floyd.
crossed.
I guess Floyd a little bit, but he was more like, I'm not gonna be here. He's like, he's in his head. He was like, I'm not showing up.
Like you guys can deal with this guy, huh?
He goes, little do they know, I'm not gonna be here. Like I'm calling in sick.
You know the
But
one that actually looked the friendliest, no lie. I know he was angry, and but to me it looked like it was Artur Beterbiev. Like he was like amused, like he was looking at everybody like he was amused that
dude, because
everybody looked so mad,
because
right?
Arthur better be. That's the thing, man. We talk about all this stuff when they're dieting and they're not in the mood to laugh. Arthur Betterbeep is different because he's in a good mood while he's in training camp. He's in a good mood all the time. That's a different mindset. That means you're like mentally strong. That's a lot, bro. Like it's a big deal to me. you know, like he's the only one smiling and he's fucking rumbling. His stomach's. I'm not sure if his stomach's rumbling, but I'm pretty sure his stomach's like growling and shit, ready to eat. And he's smiling. He's like inshallah. Like he's like
Inshallah
thank.
Allah.
Yeah, he's like thank you. And he's just like a thank. Like he's just a good vibe dude. He's not gonna. He's just good vibes. I feel like. You know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, so yeah, so I think I agree. Right, right. We know that those guys are the ones that don't have to worry about weight, right? Bivol and Berturbiev, they're always fighting in the same weight class. They've been fighting in the same division forever. They know their patterns. They know how much they can blow up. They know how far they are from making their fighting weight and meeting those deadlines. So they're good, right? I think maybe that's the reason why he was a bit jovial. But I was very surprised that Daniel Dubois looked so miserable because he's the friendliest, right? He'll always try to be friendly. He's very smiley, and that time around he was very, very serious. And I saw that Virgil Ortiz said that, and I was like, "What did he say?" Like, and the black guy didn't get it. Like he was like, he continued to laugh. And man, that was a little cringy, bro. That was pretty cringy, man. Um, look, there's this thing, right? These rumors. I don't know what you know about them, but there's these rumors that Tank Davis is going to be in Riyadh season, and he's about to scope out Shakur Stevens. Obviously, beat up on Josh Padley or outbox him or whatever. Do you think that's true? The rumors of Tank Davis going over there is true, and why are people under the impression that just because Tank Davis goes over there, that Shakur Stevens is one of his next fights
Shakur, I didn't say his Shakur is one of his next fights.
with Tank Davis
Oh, you're asking who's his next fight after
after Padley?
oh Shakur's after Padley. Okay. So based off of what I know, it sounds like Tank is you know looking to fight some like one more time like at the end of this year. But I think he's gonna continue to duck Shakur. I think he won't fight him until next year. But I think Shakur's next opponent could very well be like William Cepeda. And if you pay attention to that fight, remember it was supposed to happen, and then he ducked,
Hmm.
and guess who he was behind? Oscar De La Hoya. And guess who's behind?
Hmm.
Behind Floyd. So um, I was starting to think what Rick was saying earlier. He said it's probably a tactic to get him onto the team, um, since he's speaking so highly of him and the way he's just behind all this. All of his fighters have kind of pulled out of fights. They pulled out of fights with Shakur. two of
Mhm.
his fighters already. So um,
Wow.
yeah,
And
so
that's the thing. Oscar has a personal disdain for Eddie Hearn.
it could be, but I think he's I think in reality it's all friendly type of it's business too though. I get it. Yeah, it's business, but um, he's just maybe trying to win over some of his fighters, bro. He's been trying to sign Shakur. I remember when he was a free agent, Oscar was like making videos like, you dude, come on, talk to us. Like he was on it, bro. Like everyone wanted to
Yeah.
sign him, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, Oscar's just different, man. I just yeah, that's one of my conspiracies right there. But with Shakur, man, he can fight like I said, William Cepeda or the winner of that rematch, Cepeda and William Foster.
Mhm.
Um, but it's gonna be like a tune-up fight. I think Devin is busy. He's gonna be fighting JC, and then he's gonna rematch Ryan. So he's pretty much busy with that. Um, so it could very well be a Shakur. I mean a Shakur. Maybe a rematch with De Los Santos. Maybe because you just don't know, man. A lot of fighters duck Shakur. They fight they duck Shakur, and it's just hard to tell at this point. It's gonna be somebody that's at a lower rankings in the organization, and they're gonna take their opportunity. So it can be anybody, man. There's like he will not fight a Tito Mercado. People forgot about Tito Mercado.
Yeah.
um he's good, and I'm only saying that because he's been talking a lot of shit, and not only that, but the man is a Olympic alternative. He was one fight away from representing USA, just like
Ooh.
Ruben Villa. Whenever
Mhm.
you get to that point, Olympic trials is different. When they say I'm a 14-time national champion, that's impressive. But in Olympic trials, you get all the national champions in that tournament. And for you to say that you're one match away from the Olympics, that says a lot. That's almost that's you would probably represent another country. You're probably good enough to represent another country. So that's what that means. But yeah, there's Tito at 135. He could move. I think he's at 140 or 135. I'm not sure which one, but Shakur's that good. He can bring fighters down or up, and they'll do it for a Shakur opportunity.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Padley. You know, literally working on some electrical stuff and got the call, and he was and he was. That's what they said. He was working on a electrical project on someone's electrical box, and got the call, and he said I'm on wait. He said that he didn't even eat lunch once he got called. He said he got the call. He didn't eat lunch. He just drank water after that. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. Whoa. 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 But do you think he was a backup then?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like,
that yeah,
so, so he was a
so
backup that was still waiting just in case, like, keeping weight, still
because
practice.
yeah, because he was ranked highly. He was number 7, so that was the best option at the time. And yeah, I mean, you can name other people from the United States, but you got to think about jet lag. You got to think about all that. So, I mean, a fighter's gonna do all that, but it's a 15-hour flight. We are a
Mhm.
couple days away. So, I don't think they even wanted to go through all that. They needed to be on this side of the pond or on that side of the pond, I mean, and Padley's uh from from I forget where, UK or Ireland, I forget where. Oh yeah, UK. So yeah, yeah, William Cepeda, but he's all the way out here in this part of the world.
Mhm.
15-hour flight. That's 15 hours right there, man. Do they got a treadmill on the plane? But but I don't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
But shit, I'm giving them ideas now. But yeah, dude, it's just but yeah, no, it's just Padley's on the side of the pond. It makes sense in a geological. and boxing sense, I guess. I don't know. It's just I guess he's undefeated. He upset a dude named Mark Chamberlain. Um,
Mhm.
like I said earlier, he was a plus 1600, um, plus 1600 underdog, and he upset the dude, and that's what got him that number 7 spot right there, pretty much. Um, but I mean, he should outbox. He shouldn't outbox Shakur. But yeah, man, it's just yeah, it sucks, but I think he just got to wait around for the big dogs because Devin's trying to get his smoke back, and I feel like there's still like a Raymond Murataya, there's still, mm, and those guys are safe, low risk, solid fights right there.
Mhm.
It's just dudes like De Los Santos, man. It just sucks that De Los Santos been out the ring since Shakur. It's like, dude.
Wow.
So it's like, dude, you haven't even tried to come back in the ring. You're just waiting for him. So now we can't even make a case for him. You just needed to stay active, and we would have been shouting your name for this guy. So I don't know. It sucks. You know. So I might get. I think Cepeda made sense too. I want that fight to happen. But you've seen. I think William Cepeda got to redeem himself against Tevin Farmer. You get dropped like that, man. You better redo that fight. Because I had high, I thought highly of him. Because of his volume. His volume's fucking crazy. Just crazy copy punch numbers. Just consistent 1,000 punch fights. He punches over lands. I forget how many he lands, but he throws over 1,000 punches per fight. So that ain't no joke, man. Zepeda the only one doing that. Um, so yeah, I wanted to see that, but you get dropped by a Tevin Farmer, a dude that kind of got out the couch and just outboxed you, kind of. Um, when he did, outboxed you when he did, but William Cepeda did put the pressure on him, but he rocked you, man. He downed you. So got to get that get back, and or else Shakur's just kind of doing you a favor in a sense. I feel like, so
You know, one of my loyal followers, he reminded me that there is a fighter training from Saudi Arabia who's another young undefeated prospect who would have presented Shakur Stevens with some very good complications, probably a better fight than Josh Padley. Have you ever heard of a Cuban expat by the name of Javier Herrera?
yeah, I think so.
22 years of age, living in Dubai, right? Record of I think it's 16 and no, 14 knockouts. He's got face tats. He reminded me that he has face tats like XX Tentacion, right? And now I'm looking at him, and yeah, he does look like one of those type of like punk rock heavy metal rappers. And he said that he was waiting on that shot, and that Shakur Stevens ducked him, right? Uh, and me and the homie Ricky, we were having a conversation earlier on, and we were asking ourselves, why did like who decided that Josh Padley should be the fight that Shakur Stevens should get for last minute replacement. Like for example, when you think of Martin Bakodi stepping in for Daniel Dubois, that's a crazy fight, right? Because I mean, you have to understand both. Yeah, okay, you can say that Daniel Dubois and Martin Bakodi are very similar in the sense that they're heavyweights and they can knock you out, right? Not like Alexander Usyk or any of these other modern, heavyweights like Ajit Kabayel that are outliers, that they're outfighters. They don't necessarily have to knock you out; they can just outbox you, right? Um, so they're very atypical to heavyweights, because when you think about heavyweights, you don't necessarily think about styles or skills or speed or counter. You think about knockouts and knockout power, right? And and when you look at Josh Padley, you don't think, man, Josh Padley is equivalent to Floyd Schofield. They're completely different fighters, completely different styles. And that presents certain complications for Stevenson, right? Because let's say that he was preparing for a guy that was way more aggressive, come forward. So he was working on countering, check hooking, things of that sort. Now he's gonna have to take it much more relaxed because who's he gonna face? Another soft punching individual like himself that just happens to be a worse boxer than him. But
Hey
if
man,
if
I'm gonna go to sleep now.
yeah, oh man, I was gonna ask you a question, but anyways, go to sleep, bro. We'll talk about it.
All right.
Um, ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun. All right. I was gonna ask this guy about Javier because he has such a great memory. But anyways, guys, you guys made your picks. You guys are gonna live with it. You guys said who's gonna win according to your eyes, and I know that we're gonna screenshot it. We're gonna have to address these things back. Let's say on Sunday in the morning, midday or whatever. Thank you very much for allowing us to rob a couple of hours of your day right here at the Homie Ricky podcast for the Homie Ricky Dream 123 and your co-interlocutor of the night, Warp Speed. Good even fall, good night, good day, sweet dreams.